This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
Joel is mainstream. I'm a hipster. Can I make it any more obvious? Jake breaks a tie, often the wrong way.
Never.
What more can I say?
True.
Welcome to Baconsale, the show where we never fail to make the listener upset. Listen to this podcast. We'll see who will last the first round of the 2000s bracket.
Yeah.
Ken,
That's not easy.
I love that you sang that.
Not easy.
I love even more that you're wearing a tank top and a tie right now.
That's why that's happening?
Yeah.
Did you see my cargo shorts?
I love
you
it.
You didn't because they're camo cargo shorts.
I didn't see them.
Yeah.
Welcome to Baconsale. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And Jacob.
We'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our driving etiquette. We talked about the rules of the road, and, listener, I was going to let you know, we ended up recording a Bacon bit on our patreon.com/Baconsale, where Jacob did expound on one of his many stories.
It's a 30-minute story, and it's quite epic.
Jacob's not a concise person when it comes to storytelling.
I'm not.
No, but it's worth it for the patrons because they actually got to hear one of those stories.
I thought I only told relevant information on that.
You did, and it's actually great.
You literally told us you were wearing a tank top. What was the relevant part of that information?
I did not say that. I wasn't wearing a tank top.
You said I took off my shirt and I wanted to look real vulnerable, and so I was wearing this white tank top.
That's a different
Joel,
story altogether.
That's what you tweeted
You
me
literally
earlier.
said you took off your shirt, your outer shirt, so you could look more vulnerable when the cop came.
I don't know what you're talking about.
This Missouri is weird.
You'll have
It's
to go.
relevant.
Hey, speaking of patrons who can now listen to that episode, we have a couple new patrons. So first off, we have Jay Powell in the mix.
Hi, Jay Powell.
He's a tier 3 listener.
Hey there.
Nice.
So thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you.
Also, we have a new person for I Am the Listener.
Oh, and I'm the listener tier.
It's Kyler from A More Civilized Podcast, our favorite Star Wars podcast.
End
Kent, why would you end up Kent? Why would you throw a plug in like that for
Like
a podcast?
that it's our favorite Star Wars podcast?
Unless it was actually the name written down. What's the name written down?
Kyler from A More Civilized Podcast, our favorite Star Wars podcast.
So every time we mention
word for word.
and I am the
That's
listener
awesome.
tier, we give them shout outs at the end of the show. So you're saying every time we give them a shout out, that's what you got to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for not making me swear.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll bleep any inappropriate information. We
You
gotta
said
keep it family
anything,
friendly.
Joel.
No, I didn't. But yes, you can be a patron of Baconsale too and get all sorts of extra content. And then also you can just enjoy this free show today. Because what are we talking about today, Jacob?
Wow, we are getting right into it.
We have so much show.
So much.
Tonight.
I literally have, I'm just teasing this now, 33 pages of notes.
What? I have 18, and I don't even hold a candle to you. That 33. This has
33.
to be an hour and a half to an hour and 50 minutes.
Let's get on it. What are we talking about today, Jacob?
It's time to talk about 2000's alternative brackets.
So
2 years ago, do you have the show numbers that we did the 80s and 90s brackets on?
all I know is that the last music bracket we did was in 2018, and it was 80s one-hit wonders. That was the last musical bracket that we did. But it's March, and as we are sports aficionados, we need to do a little March Madness bracket.
For music.
Yeah, not for sports. Yes, for music.
So yeah, we've done 80s, we've done 90s. Now we're going to do 2000s, and then maybe we'll do 70s, or who knows?
Yeah, if you haven't got back and listened to those shows, we usually do them in two parts because there is a lot of show to get through.
Yes.
So we're going to be starting with 64 different alternate, what are we calling it? Rock alternative bands?
Yeah, alt-rock.
Alt-rock bands. And we're going to whittle that down.
Alt rock, is that going to be our official moniker for this?
Maybe.
It's a loose term. Some of these bands here, I'm like, are they
Pop alt rock? Yeah.
Are they rock? But can't
there's
pick
some
bands.
there's some that probably won't fit.
But we're going to whittle it down from 64 to 32. So this is going to be a two-parter show.
Yes.
But we're not going to do the next
there
part
has to
next
be.
week. We're doing a different show next week, taking a break, and then we'll get back to it. 'cause
Making you wait
these-
for the winner.
These take a lot of research.
And we're so sorry in advance.
Because we're going to make some people mad.
A lot of people mad.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of babies.
There's some sweethearts here.
I just want to know, kind of set the scene here.
Okay,
Yeah.
ready.
2000s. Where were you guys? What were you up to? Like, what does this music evoke memory?
2000s was college radio all the way. And this ages us, or dates us, I should say. But it's, for me, it was only listening on my iPod or music that my friends gave me. I avoided the radio altogether.
Really?
Granted, I knew these songs, but there's a lot of these bands I didn't really listen to till well after they had a couple albums out.
Okay.
So it was just cool hipster albums that my friends gave me, and you'll see that in my voting.
Okay.
Granted, my voting won't all be personal preference based on albums.
We
So
do.
we'll get
I was
there.
going to say we have it as 33% performance, 33% impact,
Yeah, this is good to
and
remind.
34% personal taste.
Right.
So a little edge there for personal taste. But we are also going to take into account how many albums they sold and if people still talk about them.
Which we have to talk about.
So, Jake, what was your music history?
It's pretty much the
2000s.
same. I mean, I'm in college and mostly thinking about how this music is not as good as the 90s. But honestly, it has aged well.
Some of it
very, very badly.
Some of it sounds like the 90s.
It does.
That was my next comment. Yes, like some of the best stuff for me is like the music that sounds most like the 90s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow, that's actually this is the 2000s? It sounds like the 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the 90s had a huge impact.
And there is some
musically, so it makes
crossover
sense.
here with like they were formed in the 90s, maybe had one hit in the 90s, but we're really talking about when they broke big, but it's a flexible,
And
loose.
there's
We
some-
do need to talk about that because that's our general rule. This
Yeah.
this is the decade we believe defines them the most, even
Yes.
if they did have songs released before or after.
Like some of them had a resurgence recently, but it's still like, yeah, but I still think of them as that band.
Yes.
2000s for me, I was in college, but it's the years that I went to college. It's the years that I got married. I started having kids. Like it's all kind of like tied up in there.
For
So
you, was it the years when you were driving around with dates, listening to like almost like adult contemporary alternative?
for me, it's the years
Trying to
that
impress
I was
girls?
That
I
was
did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
For me, it's the years of driving around in the car that I still drive today.
Mercy. That's
Singing
wherever
these
you
songs
are.
at the top of my lungs to stay awake while going to Quick Wits and back.
Okay.
So that's a lot of this.
That's great.
But let's jump into it.
Let's do
gentlemen.
this.
And we are going to be voting on a 3-party system, meaning 2/3 of the vote advances to the bracket.
And Jake, as the moderator and the third voting member, keep us tight because we talk for a long time.
That'll be tough.
We're already-
because we have to give everybody their due, and there's 60
Yes.
frickin' 4 of them.
And you can actually go to baconsale.com and print this bracket out yourself and play with your friends at home. Make them mad.
All right, so the first matchup. Are you ready, gentlemen?
Oh, boy, yes.
We're going to start with one of the most iconic bands from this era, Nickelback,
Well, that's alternative rock.
versus Switchfoot.
Nickelback has 9 studio albums and has sold more than 50 million albums worldwide. They are, and that's a heavy hitter on here.
Yeah.
That's one of the big ones. Nickelback is one of the bigger bands on here. And as much as people hate on them, they are successful.
They have 19 top 100 hits.
Well, no one's going to listen to them today. If
No, people do love them. In fact,
you put a gun to someone's head and you're like, die or listen to Nickelback, and they're like, just shoot me.
I wish
That's
That's
how they
an
are now.
exaggeration.
I wish I liked
Is it?
Nickelback more because they deserve to be liked because they're so hated, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I feel bad
It's the
for
point
them
where
too.
everyone hates them. Kent's like, oh, I like them.
Yeah. Sarcasm.
For me, like I actually don't mind their music. A lot of it, it's fine.
Yeah.
but it's like Photograph, for example, has some of the worst. It's easy, terrible rhymes, and I hate it. Such as, look at this photograph.
Your voice is gone now, by the
Every
way.
time I do it, makes me laugh. Terrible.
Yeah.
Like just they keep like.
the crap's lazy often.
It
Like
is.
Rockstar as well.
But here's the thing: is that Chad Kroeger, like they released an album and they made. It says the band spent they got some money to make an album. The band
10
spent
minutes
half the
writing
money to record the EP and spent the other half on magic mushrooms. That's what it says.
That's
here.
what they said.
But around 2019, Chad Kroeger started studying every piece, every sonically, every lyrically, everything musically,
2019?
chord structure. Like he started. This is 2001. He started to study these things and dissect every single song that he heard on the radio, so that he could see why it did well. And then he tried to
Wow.
put that in his music. So he's scientifically
That's clever.
trying to create.
He's like the
hits.
Will Smith of the crappy
Well,
alternative
and then,
world.
And then he comes out with How You Remind Me, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, can I actually say here that they had an album in 97, 98, something like that, Leader of Men? I
Yeah.
had that album.
yeah, they went by the name Creed at that point.
No.
You're going to confuse the listener. Some people don't know about these. The millennials listening to this are like, oh, okay, Nickelback is Creed.
No, they were Creed was the worst. And
I still
but
like
no,
Creed.
that album was good. I enjoyed that album. They had a couple of really good songs on there. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then that was like they sold
Then you
like
looked at the photograph.
10,000 of that album as
Yeah.
opposed to however many million of the next one.
So let's give Switchfoot some love.
Yes,
so
please
their
do.
hits are in the Billboard Top 100 is Meant to Live, which is number 18, Dare You to Move, number
good.
17, and Stars, which is number 68 on Billboard. Couple great albums. Oh,
They have 11
high-performing
studio
albums
albums
as well. Yeah.
That's surprising me.
and
That
2
surprised me.
songs. That's weird.
So Joel, the fuzzy math here for me will be the album sales, which are really hard to research. Some sites give you one number, other sites give you another because
Yeah.
there's single sales and album
I
sales.
primarily went by Wikipedia, the source of all knowledge and truth.
So I have about 5 million sales for Switchfoot.
I have around 4 million.
Yeah.
So, and it didn't say it explicitly. I had to go through and count because every time it says platinum, that's 1 million. Every time it says gold, that's 500,000.
Yeah. So
That's a lot
the
of
name
work.
Switchfoot,
Yeah.
it comes from surfing. It's
Big
about a
deal.
new stance. They say it's a change and a movement, a different way of approaching life and music, which is why they went with that name.
Now, Switchfoot got their popularity. They popped on the scene because they were in one of their songs was in the movie A Walk to Remember, starring Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
And so she actually sang their song Only Hope during seeing the movie, and they had some other songs in there. And that's why they got their kind of start. But they elevated, gentlemen. In March 2008, the band wrote and directed a new song called This Is Home for the film The Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian.
That was their second break. They actually are considered gospel or Christian rock. They actually got a Grammy nomination for Best Rock Gospel Album.
They did.
Which is apparently a category.
Well, like Meant to Live, right? Like we were meant to live for so much more.
Oh, we talked. I was going to say, you talked about how Switchfoot got their name. Do you guys know Nickelback, how they got their name?
It's the worst story ever.
It is. Ready. The band's name originated from the nickel and change that band member Mike Kroger gave to his customers at his job at Starbucks.
So you used to say,
what?
Here's your Nickelback.
Here's your Nickelback.
So that became
your Nickelback.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
So this is actually kind of difficult for me because
that's so bad. That's so
I
bad.
have to acknowledge Nickelback's presence and the fact that I don't hate their songs, but Switchfoot has a special place in my heart because it was introduced to me that girl I liked. She gave me the CD.
You're voting for Switchfoot?
No.
He's got to give him love, though.
I got to because I really do like Switchfoot's songs, but I got to say Nickelback.
So I give awards on these, and some of the awards I'll get to on the next show. But Switchfoot, I gave Dare You to Move Your Finger to the Next Track.
No, I like Dare You to... I like Switchfoot.
And so I'm going to give it to Nickelback based on album sales and success.
That
it really
Dare You
was.
to Move, yeah.
So Jake, that's a clean sweep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jacob voted for Nickelback.
Oh, gosh, no. All right, the next matchup is Yellow Card
with such hits as Ocean Avenue, Only One, and Lights and Sounds
versus Good Charlotte
with I Don't Want to Be in Love, Lifestyles Were Rich and Famous, The Anthem. They also had 8 total top 100 hits.
The River, yeah.
That's Garth Brooks.
Nope.
Wild Horses.
So
I love that one by Good Charlotte. Yeah.
Yellow Card has 10 studio albums, including one called Midget Tossing. That was their first album.
What the what?
Yeah. That was in 97.
At a
different time then, I guess. Yeah. And they use a lot of violin in their music.
Which always gives it a more epic feel with any song.
It does. It does.
Well, because it's like that fast. It's not like a slow, beautiful one. It's like...
That was really good.
That was Ocean Avenue.
Yeah.
By the way, they got their name from soccer. Basically, they did this thing where they give each other yellow cards for doing something stupid, like spilling a beer on the carpet.
Like party fouls, basically.
Yeah, party foul, where they get a yellow card. So it became Yellow Card. And then Good Charlotte, 7 studio albums, about 15 million albums worldwide.
These guys both kind of shut down after a little while.
Well, they're still kind of going. Good Charlotte tried to come back. And
that was the thing that annoyed me about this research camp.
Yeah.
Is almost every single band's history, as I was reading, it was like, and then they went on hiatus, and then they came back, and then they went on hiatus, and then they came back.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, if albums stop selling, what are they going to do?
I think it's just concerts. They just want to get together for tours and make money that way.
Exactly.
Because there will still be an audience.
Let's go relive this a little bit.
But it seemed like all the other like 80s and 90s band had kind of these interesting, cool stories of how they met and how they got together and their history.
We're gonna get here. Like most of these people, they're like, we met at prep school or in preschool, and we decided to keep playing.
We met at that Christian rock group, youth group together.
I didn't go to college. Instead, I became famous.
Yes. I chose to become famous. It's like these bands were watching the 90s bands going, we could do that, and they did.
And they did without the heroin, which is boring.
Well, that's the thing. I remember hearing Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous by Good Charlotte, and they're like, the rich are stupid.
They're complaining.
And I'm like, aren't you guys rich? No.
Yeah. So I'm giving Good Charlotte the most punchable award, because I actually want to give them black eyes and not just from their fake guy liner there.
But Kent, in 1999, Good Charlotte opened for Save Ferris in Philadelphia, and they were in your favorite movie, 10 Things I Hate About You.
I know, and yours too.
No, it's not my favorite.
Yellow Card gets the award for Simple Plan's more talented older brother. Because they sound the same, but have violence.
They do.
Now,
Yellow Card obviously sold much less.
You're voting, Kent?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Yellow Cards sold much less than Good Charlotte, so that does have to come into play a little bit.
They had much more of an impact, and the fact remains, I like more of Good Charlotte songs than I like Yellow Card songs.
So you do like Good Charlotte?
I really like Good Charlotte.
Even with Ocean Avenue existing on the planet right now.
Ocean Avenue is a great song.
Ocean Avenue gives me a headache.
Listen to this. Okay, so Ocean Avenue.
I recognize it's a good song, but it always hurts. I don't know why.
It hurts?
Yeah, my head hurts.
Is it pop punk? Because pop punk kind of does that to my head too.
Oh, yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
Or mall punk or whatever it is.
But Good Charlotte, I mean, look at these songs. Lifestyle Rich and Famous, The Anthem, Girls and Boys, The Young and the Hopeless, Hold On, Dance Floor Anthem. These are songs that I will sing along with, and I love singing along with.
They're very poppy, but...
Very poppy.
Yeah.
But Joel, Yellow Card has an average Metacritic score of 69, whereas Good Charlotte only has 56 on their average Metacritic score. Does
Metacritic's for movies.
Metacritic
it's
has
for movies, games, everything.
It has artist reviews like this?
Yeah.
Oh,
you can look at like album
My
beverages.
vote has to be for Good Charlotte, though, because I really like them. Unapologetically, I like Good Charlotte. I named my daughter after him. Her name is Good.
Wow. I'm giving it to Good Charlotte as well.
Yay!
That's a sweep. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next matchup is White Stripes
With such hits as Seven Nation Army, Hotel Yorba, and Fell in Love with a Girl.
versus Snow Patrol.
So we have Chasing Cars, You're All I Have, Signal Fire, Just Say Yes. They had 9.
Run, come on.
9 top 100 hits.
Yeah.
Chocolate, did you make that up?
No, that's a great
Is this
song.
another Garth Brooks song?
So White...
It's good when he sings it too.
White Stripes has around 18 million albums sold. Snow Patrol has about 16 albums sold worldwide. So they're pretty close in sales.
They're really close. So Jack and Meg White, so they were married when they were in the band.
I thought they were brother and sister.
Oh, that's what I heard too. I thought they were siblings.
Wait, you thought they were brother and sister?
for the longest time.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, they're like weird siblings created by Tim Burton.
Yeah.
That's what they kind of
That's
feel
actually
like,
true.
right?
No, I heard they were siblings. Like I've never thought
Well, their
double-checked
relationship
that.
was kind of sibling-like.
His name was actually Jack Gillis.
Yeah.
And then he got married to her and took her last name of Meg White.
And he says with the name, he says, Meg loved peppermints. And we were going to call ourselves the Peppermints. But since our last name was White, we decided to call it the White Stripes. And he says, it revolved around the childish ideas that kids have are much better than adult ideas. I was like, okay. It's kind of a childish name for kind of a darker, soul-y band.
Can I say something, though,
Go
about
for
White
it.
Stripes?
Garage Band.
White Stripes is one of those bands that I felt like I should like because everyone else liked. They're like, oh, yes, the White Stripes. Yes, you must listen to them. Look how white and pale they are.
Right.
They're so talented.
Is that people's barometer?
They look like
They're white and pale. They must know what they're doing.
Have you seen Sia?
But it is impressive. It is impressive that it's basically him playing guitar, her playing drums,
That's it.
and they're able to create this amazing sound.
It is.
Snow Patrol is one of those bands that I really have this emotional attachment to some of their songs. I don't know. I don't know if they're not as
Snow
talented
Patrol
of a band.
is what I'll play in the car with a date to feign sensitivity.
Light up, light up.
I actually feel like the lead singer of Snow Patrol is actually asleep when he's singing the song.
He looks it
As
sometimes.
if you
Well, and in the Chasing
had
Cars
a choice.
music video, he lays down the whole time. So
Yeah.
Can't
But
watch-
it is really cool though. Snow Patrol, they started their first gig was playing for 18 people at a strip club, and then they later went on to play for
Family
Wembley
friendly.
Stadium.
True.
Like think about that. That
Yeah,
is
that's cool.
huge success.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I can't take away from the success of Jack White.
And his worst Bond song ever.
Oh man, it's not good. It's not the worst Bond song.
It's pretty bad. It's down there, bottom 5.
Yeah, it starts off so cool, but it's not the Bond show. But the success
save it for November.
of Elephant and White Blood Cells, these two critically loved albums are ranked in the top 50 for any publication out there.
Well, they were so big, and you're like, why'd they go away? Why'd they go away? And it's because
Meg didn't really like it.
Meg was not a fan. In fact, they're one of the few albums that have an end date. Most all these
Yeah.
bands say 1997 to present. This one says 1997 to 2001.
It's definitely
They're
rougher
done.
music, but Jack White is so talented, you can't take it away. So I'm going to have to give my vote to the White Stripes.
I love both of these bands.
You do? Okay.
I do. I genuinely have listened. I mean, repetitiously to both of them for years and years and years and years. I'm going to have to give it to Snow Patrol though by like
A hair.
5% because there's just a couple of songs in there that like White Stripes is fun. It's always fun. And I'm like, this guy is so talented with a guitar and like it's just memorable stuff and it feels like throwbacks and it feels good. Like it feels is it weird? It feels kind of like America rock. Like that's
Yes.
that's the vibe I get from it. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Snow Patrol though, I'm like, it makes me think. And it like there's sort of like an emotional response to it that that's where it gets that extra 5%.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Joel?
Now, I said I emotionally connect probably more to Snow Patrol's songs because I listen
Well, they
to
are
those.
the sensitive songs. They sound
Yeah.
adult contemporary.
Yeah. But then I look at what movies they've been attached to,
Oh, no.
such as the Spider-Man 3 soundtrack, the 2003 animated movie Epic, and the 2014 movie Divergent. They're attached to bombs, and I can't stand by that.
That's enough for you?
You were just talking
No.
about the Bond song.
You can't take away from...
Truthfully, though, that was just kind of me having fun here.
Yeah.
But I look at it, and while Snow Patrol is good, and I like their songs, I've never really kind of unified their songs under the umbrella of this band. It's kind of like, I like that song, I like that song.
If
White Stripes has a look, a feel, and a style, and I got to give credit to them.
you could put the song Seven Nation Army against any of these bands, that one song, and it would probably win.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Although the music video
It's great. It's
like
cool.
hurts. It hurts.
It's crazy.
So many things are hurting your head. Are you okay?
Oh man. Next match, The Hives.
With hits such as Hate to Say I Told You So and Tick Tick Boom.
Isn't it like tick, 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 tick,
Boom.
tick, 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 boom? Yeah, it's weird. He has like 25
say
ticks
I
in there.
told you so.
Versus Incubus.
With hits like Drive, Wish You Were Here, Megalomaniac, Animali, and Dig.
Now,
Pardon
the
me,
Hives
Stellar?
Yeah.
Gone.
The Hives
Well,
have,
there's a ton, but those
Yeah.
are the Billboard ones.
Hives have around 5 studio albums and about 2 million albums sold worldwide. Incubus has 8 albums and have sold over 19 million albums worldwide.
The awards I gave for this one is for the Hives. It's the first runner-up of the bands, because it's my second favorite The Band of this era.
What are you saying?
Because there's
band.
the, because they always put
front of
the
their
in
name.
front of something.
Okay.
Whereas Incubus has my Voice Crush Award, because Brandon
Really?
Boyd's voice.
It is a cool voice.
It's
The
kinda
Hives.
It's a very cool voice.
In the Hives, the band has described themselves as, quote, being like a velvet glove with brass knuckles, both brutal and sophisticated at the same time.
Did you get the names of the band members on there?
Sounds like they were.
We have Howlin' Pete, Nicholas Arson, Chris Dangerous, the Johan and Only, and Vigilante Karlstrom.
There's
those
some
guys tried
Sweden,
too hard.
So.
Yeah.
This band's from Sweden, oddly enough, whereas Incubus is from California. Kent, do you have strong feelings about either one of these bands?
Very strong feelings.
Okay, then go first.
Incubus.
Remember he said man crush or voice
Yeah,
crush.
Voice
or-
Crush.
Voice crush. No, Pardon Me came out in like 99. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this song
And
is
Science,
awesome.
which is in '97, which is a great album as well.
Oh, I don't think I
Go
went back
check
to
it
that
out.
one.
It's
No.
it's very '90s.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you remind me of how Drive goes?
Whatever the wind, I'll be there with open arms
And open eyes.
Yeah, I mean, lyrics not great.
That's good. But that was the tune. I to be honest, I don't have strong feelings towards either one.
It was
of them.
very overplayed back in the day.
Oh, it was.
It was.
And then
But-
Hate to Say I Told You So. I know that one, but
And I have a lot of information on these guys, but I'd really like to push them through because every album of theirs evolves. And sometimes it's like they're not always better. Their best album was mid-2000s, and it's called Like Grenades, where every song is incredible.
Okay.
And it's start to finish great.
We
And
might
so
be in trouble, Kent. They're kind of a favorite of mine too.
yeah, so Incubus would be my pick to go through.
Jacob, do you have strong feelings one way or the other?
I was a fan from 99, so yeah. And also the Hives, no, skip.
Okay.
Skip, no love for him?
No. I don't they're trying too hard. The music is like
But they
okay.
recorded a Christmas duet entitled A Christmas Duel with Cyndi Lauper.
Listen, Tick Tick Boom is
Okay,
kinda
I
fun.
changed my vote. Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper brought it back around.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a clean sweep for Incubus.
Okay.
Incubus.
All right, the next match, Avril Lavigne
With such hits as Complicated, Girlfriend, Skater Boy, My Happy Ending, and Kent's Intro.
versus Katie Tunstall.
With 2 hits, Black Horse and the Cherry Tree, and Suddenly I See.
Suddenly
That's
I
it?
see.
Yeah.
feel like there's more.
KT Tunstall,
There's
about
more.
6 studio albums, about 14 million albums sold worldwide. Avril Lavigne, 6 albums, 40 million albums worldwide. And we actually referred to her in our episode, Baconsale episode 204, Illuminati Confirmed.
You mean Melissa Vandella?
the lookalike that took place of Avril Lavigne when Avril Lavigne passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the award I gave for Avril Lavigne is Best Ska Fashion for the opposite of a ska musician. And KT Tunstall is Peaked 10 Years Too Late.
Oh.
She's very 90s sounding.
Like, because that 90s angry girl music
Yep,
was
yep.
is good era, and she definitely belongs there. It's
Yeah.
great music
Oh,
as
it is.
well.
It is. It's great music, but yeah, you're right.
It's actually definitely an earworm.
It is.
No, so I remember seeing KT Tunstall on, I don't remember which talk show, but she was on a talk show, and it was just her and a guitar, and then she had a looper pedal, like where
Yes.
she could just kind of loop her
That's
music.
how she
So
got
she's
famous,
like-
actually.
Yeah,
Is that the one you saw?
Yeah, and so she's like, okay, I'm going to do one thing, and then she does one thing and puts it on a loop, the woohoo,
Yeah.
woohoo, and then she starts doing the claps, and she did that in the loop, and so she's only playing with herself, and eventually she comes up with this song, of Black Horse and Cherry Tree, and it's fantastic
It
to
really
watch.
is fantastic.
She's actually very talented. Her name's Kate, actually. Her
Okay.
real name is Kate Victoria Tunstall, but she goes by KT because of the KT impact, the name of the geological event that caused extinction of dinosaurs.
Wow. That's an epic name.
that like brought it down.
That caused a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll vote first because even though KT, the epic dinosaur killer, definitely did not sell as much as Avril Lavigne, she's way more talented. I'll happily vote for Katie. And I do not know what you guys are going to vote for, and you might go for numbers. So I'm going to
I
throw it
agree
out
she
there.
is more talented. Avril Lavigne did have 20 top 100 hits on Billboard.
Wow.
It's insane.
Shut up.
And by that, I mean the studios, because she is totally a product of the studios.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's like, change your fashion.
She
change your
became
music.
one, right? She didn't start that way.
Change
I
your
imagine.
whoever you are, Melissa.
And then I think Jacob's just voting her because Katie Tunstall's from Scotland and Avril Lavigne's from Canada. That's why. I think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Wow.
I didn't know you were going to catch that, but yeah. Man, am I that transparent?
Subtle digs at Canada.
Nationist.
I'm going to vote opposite than Jacob because I think Avril Lavigne, as much as you guys are bashing on her, I think she is a great performer. I think her voice is solid.
I know, Skater Boy. It just changed my life. She did
I think
actually
she's
have a song
talented.
I liked. I can't remember what it was.
She's got a presence. I got to go with Avril Lavigne. Solid performer.
She creeps me the heck out, but Avril Lavigne gets the win. Sorry,
Yeah.
KT.
He was a skater boy, she said see you later boy. He was a
All right, the next matchup is going to be All American Rejects.
With such hits as Dirty Little Secret, Move Along, It Ends Tonight, A Swing Swing, and the last song,
What's give you? What was that song? Give you what?
Headache.
Okay, it was the number one hit.
Yeah. I think it's like their most popular.
It really
one.
was.
Wait till we get to Kings on Leon.
Give you X. Oh, yeah,
I got
that's
it.
true. All right, versus Kings of Leon.
With You Somebody, Radioactive, and SEX on Fire.
6 on Fire.
Right here I have S asterisk asterisk asterisk.
You censored your notes?
Yeah.
You didn't want to read
I
it.
may have written it down at work.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So All American Rejects from Oklahoma, Kings of Leon from Tennessee. Got a little Southern battle going on here.
Oklahoma.
What'd you have
I
for
didn't know
album sales on All American Rejects?
All American Rejects sold over 10 million albums.
That's what I have
worldwide.
too. And I have 21 million for Kings of Leon.
Yeah.
that. Well, they've kept going, though.
Right. So All American Rejects, their award is created in a lab by scientists from the CW.
They do. They look like
Wow.
They
pretty
look
boys.
exactly like
That's
they're made by CW.
true, yeah.
And then Kings of Leon, the award is singing sounds painful.
No, honestly,
Like, is it hurting you, buddy? Are
no,
you okay?
every time I listen to Kings of Leon, I think of it. Honestly, I've always thought this isn't something I thought on Baconsale. I've always thought it sounds like he has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, I've been looking around and all I see. He's like trying to.
It's like a little comfort.
Use some toilet paper. And the problem is like the 6 on Fire, as we're calling it.
Yeah.
So that song, I actually love the sound of it, and then I
hate
heard the
that
lyrics,
song.
and I'm like, oh,
Same thing happened
that
to me.
sounds like a venereal disease.
So, oh wow, this show already. Interesting fact about Kings of Leon: they're 3 brothers and their cousin. That's the band. Their father was a preacher, and they named the band after their grandpa, Leon.
Oh, that's cool.
Isn't that kind of cute?
Yeah.
It is.
Meanwhile, you got All American Rejects, and they formed in high school. They were friends in high school, and they said the name just came from. It was a random name that sounded cool. I feel like we've
Yeah.
grown into it over the years, and I'm like, that sounds like kids from high school.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I really like Move Along.
Yeah.
I like that. That song motivates me. I enjoy it. That's a solid song. It's one of those rare songs from a lot of these people where it's like, I still listen to that. Like, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoy the Kings of Leon because they said they dislike Glee and refuse to let them use their music,
Which is great. I like that they stood
I
by that.
applaud that. All American Rejects is one of those bands that takes me back. Like when I hear "Move Along" in the car,
Is it a
I'm
guilty
singing
pleasure
along.
or just a pleasure?
It is an absolute pleasure. And I was going to say Tyson Ritter's piercing blue eyes don't hurt at all either. Wow.
You bought into the
like
CW.
CW.
I did.
All it's a guilty
Rejects.
pleasure for me, Kent. So we're
Definitely
clear.
All
They
American
cannot be
Rejects.
rejected because they're going through.
Jacob?
Oh, wow. I would have gone Kings of Leon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've stuck around better.
No.
No.
No, I like their last album.
You do?
Well, I didn't hear the whole album.
Too late. They're gone. Move on. Move along.
All right, next match is going to be the Postal Service.
With such hits as Such Great Heights, The District Sleeps Alone Tonight, Sleeping In, and Nothing Better, Brand New Colony. All good.
All good, but not all hits. Versus Keen.
Somewhere Only We Know. Is It Any Wonder? And they also have 16 UK hit singles.
Yeah. So
UK.
album sales, Keen's got about 13 million and Postal Service has about 1 million.
Yes.
But Keen had 5 albums.
Oh.
Postal Service had 1.
So Postal Service,
They just had one album?
One
album.
album. Give up. That was their only album.
their award is the ironic college hipster because everyone in college like this, so there's no real hipsters. And the Keen has the Epic Love Award because every song they sing about love is the most epic song ever written.
But here's the problem is every time I listen to Keen, I hear his lips on the microphone. Like he's like, I walked around.
Wow, I wish I had a picture of this right now.
I had the power in the back of my heart. But I do enjoy Keane. I do enjoy some of their songs. Postal Service, by the way, got their name because they were literally sending tracks back and forth through the U.S. mail service.
I know why you like Postal Service, because
Why?
Jenny Lewis was contributing to the band.
I was going to say the same thing
knew
about
it.
you. If you don't know who Jenny Lewis is, have you seen Troop Beverly Hills? Have you seen The Wizard?
Yep.
She's the redheaded girl in those movies. And she is the singer on the Postal
True
Service.
Beverly Hills?
Troop Beverly Hills.
Troop. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Really? Shelley Long?
No.
You've never seen it?
Wow.
Oh, it's classic.
And then
This is one of these things that still happens where you guys reference something, you both know it, and I still don't know what you're talking
So,
about.
Baconsale.
We've been doing this for like 5 years.
So Consequence of Sound music publication gave Give Up their 55th best album of the 2000 era. So it's pretty good because Keane did not get that from any publication there. But they did hit it big with Hopes and Fears in 2004.
Yeah.
That album, which is their first album, is still one of the best-selling albums in UK chart history.
Wow.
Keane actually used to be called the Lotus Eaters when they started as a cover band, and they changed their name to Cherry Keane, and then shortened after one of the friends' mothers,
Mm-hmm.
and then they shortened it to Keane later on.
Oh, they're very insecure, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, you've seen him, right? He
Yeah.
seems pretty insecure.
and then
Does he?
yeah, have you seen
That
face?
voice, though?
That face is
Or-
weird.
The Postal Service, by the way, they're actually kind of a side project because Ben Gibbard was in Death Cab for Cutie, and he was producing with some other people who were doing other projects. And it was kind of something they just did as kind of a side project.
Right.
Like I said, through the mail. They'd mail a track and then record something, mail it back. But then they came out with this album, and since then they kept saying, like, maybe we'll do another, but they've
Yeah.
never had the time to fit it in.
They waited. It was like 2013, so like a decade after. They're like, we're going to do an album. Just kidding. We're never going to do it.
What's your favorite song from these guys?
Oh, man, I love so many of them. I'm obviously voting for them because I love Brand New Colony. Oh, Nothing Better, though. Nothing Better may be my favorite. I love Nothing
Wow,
Better.
you know the deep tracks on these guys.
No, these are like the big hits of theirs.
The
like,
big hits.
Well, basically,
They had
charted on
one
the-
album.
Yeah.
The dance singles, they charted a couple times.
but they
Such great heights.
U.S. dance singles, yeah.
like people, a ton of popular artists have also covered Nothing Better, and Such Great Heights also has been covered a couple times. But this, I love. If you haven't listened to the Postal Service, almost every single track on that album,
It's
Give Up,
really
is
airy.
awesome.
They use synthesizer, but it's like it sounds nice. Like it puts you in a better mood.
It's
for
a
sure.
very kind of dreamy, ethereal feel to the music, but I love it. Just the lyrics,
Joel,
the music.
You're going Postal Service.
Oh no, yes, I am. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yes, I am. I'm going Postal Service.
So, Jake, I'm going to need your vote on this one.
Oh gosh. Nah, it's Postal Service.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm straight up going Keane on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's close.
yeah.
I really only like one song from Keane is the trouble. And
Okay.
it's the one.
I could share you some
Oh, yeah?
that are actually great, but
Okay.
the vote is out.
The vote is
Postal
out.
Service with 1 million
Yay!
albums. Joel got his pick in.
College Rock for the win.
All right, next matchup is Train
With such hits as Meet Virginia, Drops of Jupiter, Hey Soul Sister, and Calling All Angels.
versus My Chemical Romance.
With hits like Welcome to the Black Parade, Helena, Teenagers. They had 9 top 100 hits.
My Chemical Romance sold around 8 million albums worldwide. Train sold about 10 million albums
Yeah, so
worldwide.
That's
really
it?
close.
Just 10?
Apparently.
So Train gets
That
the
doesn't seem right.
genre jumper award because everything they do, every single they have, is a different genre. It's kind of weird.
It seems all just singer-songwriter
No, but then it's like
melody stuff.
it's like Drops of Jupiter. Then it's Hey Soul Sister, where Mister.
Calling All Angels.
Whereas My Chemical Romance, or My Chem, as I like to call them,
no,
My
you
Chem.
don't.
they have the Inspires Me to Be Emo award.
They
Because
deserved it.
I never feel
They
emo.
deserved it.
And then I listen to them, I'm like, I am so angry at my parents right now.
I thought you were going to give them the most played at Hot Topic award.
That too.
That's fair. That's fair. And Train, we probably should point out, they had a lot of like they may belong in the 90s.
They kind of do a little bit, but we didn't include them.
But no, that's not where they went.
One thing I love about Train is so SNL parodied them in 2013, and so they had actors, but they invade a bar and they get in a fight with Adam Levine, and then they're joined by Jason Mraz and John Mayer.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty great.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Train was actually featured in the movie The Animal. Remember with Rob Schneider, I think it is?
Jason Mraz,
And then
where's he at?
Rugrats
on the
Go Out.
list.
He's on the
Oh,
list.
is he? Oh,
yeah.
I thought he didn't make it.
And then you get My Chemical Romance, who is in Yo Gabba Gabba.
Oh, that's a win right there. So they broke up in 2013, but they've recently caught up together because the singer Gerard Way, he started writing Umbrella Academy, the graphic novel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And working on the show, and he does a ton of creative stuff. But they've recently started touring. We don't know if we're going to get a new album as well. But yeah, the Black Parade is the 42nd highest ranking album on Ranker, which is the user submitted.
It is one of the funnest songs to play on Rock Band
It
too.
is really fun.
Or it's at Guitar Hero, one of those. But it was awesome to play.
That's pretty much the only place
So-
it's worth it.
Let's let Jacob go first.
Yeah, Jake,
It's
what do you
going to be
pick?
Train all the way. My Chemical Romance is pretentiously emo. It's annoying. It's pushy. I don't like them. It's going to be Train, even though they're kind of middle of the road for me.
All right, I'm going to go next.
Please do.
My Chem.
Which is what?
My Chemical Romance. My Chemical Romance, I'm putting on the black eyeliner as we speak.
My Chemical Romance is interesting because actually, like, I look at the band's history, like, see if there's anything interesting that popped out. Apparently, one of their band members got sacked, as they say, because he was, quote, caught red-handed stealing from the band after a concert and confessed to police after the show.
Wow.
So they not killed the guy. Whoa. Yeah. They
No, that sounds
axed
about
the
right.
guy because of that.
Axed him.
I'm telling that interesting fact because I'm not voting for My Chemical Romance.
No.
I'm voting for Train.
Good choice, Joel.
I can name more songs by Train than I can by My Chemical
Who would you rather
Romance.
listen to?
Yeah, I think they're a one-hit wonder.
I would rather listen to Welcome
right?
Black.
Kent?
Okay,
One-hit
9 top 100 hits.
I would rather listen to Welcome to Black Parade over Train songs, but that's the only song.
Oh,
So sorry.
I'm so sad.
Right, next matchup is going to be Muse
With such hits as Uprising, Madness, Knights of Sidonia, Starlight, and Supermassive Black Hole.
versus Puddle of Mud.
With such hits as Blurry, She Hates Me, and Control. They had 6 top 100 hits.
I'm just going to jump out right here and say it's Puddle of Mud.
What?
No.
Let's just talk about Puddle of Mud.
Let's talk about Puddle of Mud real quick.
So they got their award is the Autotune Alternative Award. And
Famously annoying award.
one thing about them is they are known for being lip syncers. Did you find this in your
I
research?
did. They've been busted a couple times for lip syncing, and they've got mad at the audience. Like, apparently they hate their audiences.
Right. And apparently, so their audience will like throw beer at them and they'll just like yell at them.
But then he throws a microphone at them
Yeah.
and
What?
physically attack members.
He's really bad at life.
And apparently, when they abuse their audience, they'll like delete their Facebook page for a while just so it kind of dies down. This guy seems like the biggest jerk.
But you know where you got to start, too?
Where?
Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit.
A lot of these people did actually.
Yeah, Fred Durst.
Wait, what do you mean a lot
Yeah.
of these people
he
did?
had a kind of a thing where people would send him tapes and then he'd sign them. He'd get them into his studio and all that.
Wow.
So, by the
Like
way, Jacob,
you
does it
saying
change your
the
mind?
cover
Is he alive still? Did something happen
I
to
think
him?
he's still around.
Was he hit by a train?
I don't think so.
He seemed
Was he hit by train like I was in the last?
exactly.
But Jacob, does it change
Yeah.
your mind to know that Puddle of Mud's from Kansas City, Missouri?
Nope.
And that their name was inspired by practicing next to the Missouri River levee, which always inundated the band's practice space, but never ruined their equipment since they were always on the second floor.
Okay, well, now I'm voting for them.
So
Why are we wasting time, Joel?
we're not.
Muse.
We're going to give it to Muse.
All right, next match, since we're not going to talk about Muse, is Three Doors Down.
We'll talk about Muse next time, Jacob.
Okay.
Three Doors Down with such hits as Kryptonite, When I'm Gone, and Here Without You.
Versus Arcade Fire.
With such hits as Reflector, Keep the Car Running, We Used to Wait, Ready to Start, Everything Now.
So 3 Doors Down, I have about 30 million
Or
albums sold.
the Suburbia one. What's that called?
The Suburbs.
The Suburbs.
Yeah,
You
that's
didn't
an
say that
album. Yeah, Suburbs.
one. Oh, that song is great.
Oh, it's so
It
great.
wasn't at the top of Wikipedia page.
Arcade
Or what
Fire
I remember.
album sales is 6 million. So we have 30 million, 6 million. So 3 Doors Down.
Oh, I got 18 million on
18?
Arcade Fire, yeah.
Okay, good. That makes them sound a little
18?
better.
Wow.
So 3 Doors Down, their award is the love child of Matchbox 20 and Everlast. And Arcade Fire,
yeah,
it's
that's true.
Hipster Training Phase 2.
Yeah.
Phase 2?
Phase 2. Phase 1 is all Radiohead albums.
Okay.
And then Arcade-
This is
then you
phase
move
2?
on to Arcade Fire. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it improved.
By the way, Three Doors Down got their name from when they were walking through a town and saw a building where letters had fallen off the sign reading Doors Down. Since the band consisted of 3 people at a time, they added the 3 to create 3 Doors Down.
Oh, that's-
Whereas Arcade Fire
That's like,
got their
here's your
name
Nickelback.
from an actual story where an arcade caught fire and people died.
Wow.
That's dark.
Yeah.
One thing I love about Arcade Fire is they purchased a church in 2005 and they recorded 2 albums there. And you can hear it. Like if you listen to Neon Bible, which is a sensational album, you can hear it sounds very echoey. It's so good.
That's cool.
Now, Three Doors Down, I actually got introduced to on the mission.
Yeah.
While I was over in
It was around
Portugal.
that era, like
Yeah.
late 90s.
And I remember they
2000s.
played it and I was like, this song is amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was, songs that
It
you
feels
don't
like the
hear a
90s,
lot.
yeah.
I do enjoy Three Doors Down, but then I love We Used to Wait.
Oh, it's so good.
That song is one of those songs that I can listen to on repeat and just enjoy with the piano and everything. And oh man, I love that one.
Do you feel like Arcade Fire exists though to please critics, like to give critics some pretension?
Oh,
a little bit
totally.
because they are the highest ranked average score on Metacritic. Like
Wow,
critics
really?
love all their stuff.
So you love them.
Yeah. I do.
They were on the Hunger Games soundtrack.
Oh, okay. Thanks for taking it down.
Oh, yeah. Hunger Games. Katniss Everdeen loves Arcade Fire, Kent.
The Village Voice gave Kryptonite the 42nd worst song of the 2000s.
Oh, that's mean.
I did
That's
wait.
mean.
Also,
will you still call me Superman?
they got a lot of heat because they played at the presidential inauguration for Trump in 2017 and received a ton of criticism. This is Three Doors Down. Definitely not Arcade
Can
Fire.
I tell you what, though?
Yeah.
What drives me nuts is that when we were doing the research on the 80s and 90s bands,
Yeah.
it was always just about the music.
Right.
Almost
So
every
much
single one of
political
these.
stuff in here.
Yeah, almost every single one of these bands, they have a political section where it's like, what's their political views? I'm like, I don't care. I listen to the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So, Jake, would you give it to Three Doors Down?
Oh, yes, I would.
Okay. Arcade Fire.
Uh-oh.
Joel. I tell
you what, I fell in love with Kryptonite when I was
We
a
used
kid.
to wait.
I love We Used to Wait. That's the only one I know, kid.
Are you kidding me? Don't do this.
Okay.
This is mistake. I'm going to tell you this, and you're wrong to do this.
Oh,
Funeral
kid.
is number 6 by Rolling Stone of the decade, number 2 by Pitchfork, number 2 by Stereo Gum, number 2 in Consequence of Sound. We have Neon Bible, which I mean, both these
You're
albums.
just saying words now.
No, you're going by your 34%. You're not going.
all
No,
I say
30
is-
million albums versus 18 million, Ken. Three Doors Down outsells them.
They are critically reviled against a critically loved. We have 52 average Metacritic score for Three Doors Down, 82 average score for Joel.
I'm having a hard time right now because I know that Three Doors Down is the junk food here.
It's the junk food.
But I also think that Arcade
Against
Fire
a
is way
steak.
too pretentious. Like there are like Radiohead with less talent.
It's a husband and wife
Wow.
and family and friends in the band, often 11 members. And they are the number 4 band to see by Rolling Stone. Number 4. That's like Rolling Stones.
but we're doing alternative rock, right?
Well, it's alt rock, but we have Avril Lavigne in this bracket as well. I mean,
Katie
what-
Tunstall.
Avril
Yeah.
Lavigne's more rock than Arcade Fire.
Are you kidding
Three
me?
Doors Down is more rock than Arcade
Don't
Fire.
let your ignorance of some of their albums dictate what you're voting here. Joel?
I'm not sure yelling at him like that.
I have to. It's all I got.
Jacob, so you voted Three Doors Down officially.
Yeah, for sure.
And
For
you're
sure.
voting Arcade Fire.
I guess.
Yes, please.
I voted just logically on this. I didn't know Kent had a baby.
Logically.
Yeah, objectively.
Yes, 30
Three
million
Doors Down.
versus
Do you think 2000s or do you think 99?
I preferred them in '99, but then they had the other big hits in 2000s. So they did, I mean, they belong in this era.
Over Arcade Fire.
I mean, I never owned their album, but those are always
Fire.
good songs.
does not feel 2000s to me.
What do they feel like?
They feel kind of universal.
That's legacy.
They do kind of. I mean, it's
Three
a good
Doors
sound.
Down.
Three Doors Down doesn't
You
feel
say Three Doors
2000s?
Down. I know what songs
Let your
they hit.
Postal Service College Radio Heart dictate this, Joel.
Three Doors Down. I will vote officially. I'm sorry, kid. I really am sorry.
Joel is mainstream. I'm a hipster. Can I make it any more obvious?
so sorry.
It should be.
All right, next match is. Can I just say Management?
Yes, please do. With such hits as Kids, Time to Pretend, and Electric Feel.
Those are fun songs versus Interpol
With Obstacle 1 and Slow Hands
and Evil.
and Evil. Yeah, and
Barricade,
Evil.
everything is wrong. So MGMT, or Management, about 7 million albums, and Interpol about 2 million albums.
My heart isn't in anything anymore, but MGMT,
Oh, I'm sorry.
MGMT or Management, they get the Pointless Lyrics Award
That's true.
Yeah.
because this is their song. Control yourself. Take only what you need from it. A family of trees wanting
to be haunted.
Yeah. What?
I love it.
Nothing
That's
to do with
amazing.
kids. Whereas Interpol gets the White Noise Award because, truthfully, they're a great background band, and that's kind of what they are for me. I do like a lot of their
They
albums.
get a little whiny in the background too. Sometimes, like, what's that noise? If you're not like
Whiny?
actually listening to it,
Okay.
it's like kind of like like static gets too loud and suddenly interrupts what you're doing.
Okay, but they are, and this doesn't mean anything to you guys, but critics do love Turn on the Bright Lights. They say it's one of the best albums of the 2000s.
It's good.
Yeah, like Stereo Gum gave it number 10, Consequence of Sound number 35, Enemy gave it number 8. So,
I had to look up Interpol
Yeah.
to really remember who they were. I
right,
didn't have
they're
to look,
very hipster.
I didn't have to look up MGMT, so I'm voting for MGMT Management.
I'm sure.
Kent,
Doesn't even matter. What does my vote matter?
Don't do this.
Kent, listen. I will listen to an Arcade Fire album on the way home.
Oh, yeah.
that help?
It's too late.
Okay.
Sorry.
Actually, my heart's not totally in this. I do like Interpol more. Like, I skip Kids. I hate that
I
song.
love Kids.
How many times have you heard it in your life?
Yeah, but
Many
9,000?
times. I love it every time.
Yeah. So Interpol, just because it's my hipster heart, and I did like them back in the day. I don't
right.
really listen to them anymore, though.
Yeah, I don't feel strongly about either one, so I think I'll go more objective on this one, and I'll pull
There's
Three
no
Doors Down.
such thing
and say
as objective,
Engine 2.
Jake.
I don't have a personal preference. So
When there's 34%,
when there's no
34 to 75% personal preference.
Is it 34? Is that the one
It's
that pushes?
33% performance, 33% impact, 34%
Yeah,
personal
see, the
preference.
34 on this one doesn't push anything. So management.
Family of Trees is waiting to be haunted because of you guys.
Love it.
All right, next match is Gorillaz
With such hits as Clint Eastwood, Feel Good Incorporated, and Dare.
versus Arctic Monkeys.
With hits like Do I Want to Know, I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor, and When the Sun Goes Down.
I actually watched the Gorillaz Feel Good Inc. Video today. I'd never seen it before.
Really?
Yeah.
I was on heavy rotation.
Well, I knew it was really
That and Clint
famous,
Eastwood.
and I was like, okay, I better go see this. And I was like, oh, this is weird.
Well, the interesting thing, I love that we're doing Gorillaz and Monkeys, by the way. The interesting thing about Gorillaz is that they're a
funny.
virtual.
You did that on
Was that on
purpose,
purpose?
didn't you?
Yes,
Oh, my
of course
gosh.
it was. But Gorillaz is a virtual band, meaning
Yes.
they had an animator create these characters, and then the one guy
From Blur.
Yeah, the guy from Blur, Damon
Albarn. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the one who's actually doing like most of the work on it, and then he collaborates with a bunch of other people.
And that's
but they've
so cool.
created four
Yeah.
animated members: Stuart, 2D Pot, Murdoch Nichols, Noodle, and Russell Hobbs. And they just created these animated characters, and that's the band.
Now, didn't these guys win like a Grammy, and then
They have.
they
won a
actually
Grammy
sent the
Award.
cartoon to come pick it up or something?
Well, they have like these virtual concerts where they'll have like 3D animation or like projection. Sometimes they'll actually just show up live and just sing the songs, no big deal. But it's just kind of cool that they're a virtual band. I kind of like that.
So they get the Toe Tapping Award, the Gorillaz do, whereas Arctic Monkeys get the Only Hope for Modern Rock. Because what they've become, they started as punk back in the early 2000s. They kind of just broke big, like immediately.
Well, they were one of the first bands that got public attention through the internet. Like
Yeah.
MySpace was kind of big back then. And so they got a lot of word of mouth spreading because of that.
Yeah, like their debut album became the fastest selling debut album in British music history. Still is, and Rolling Stone calls it the 30th greatest debut album. This is tough because Gorillaz is
it?
really fun. But Arctic Monkeys, once again, I'm going to lose. But it's that great. Whatever people say I am, but I'm not, is loved by critics. Whereas, the self-titled Gorillaz album is really, really good, and they do have staying power. But Arctic Monkeys continues to get better with every album. And they're a real band.
They're not cartoons.
What do you got against virtual bands? For me, Arctic Monkeys, never been a huge fan. I think they're okay.
Yeah.
But never like...
Have you listened to AM? I should have you
Maybe.
listen to that album.
I may have listened to it and then I
incredible.
forgot it. But then Gorillaz, I remember Feel Good very well.
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood, my little brother always said Clint Eastwood sounded like a creepy clown singing it.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Feeling glad I got sunshine. And so, I don't know.
It was in the
well-
Troll soundtrack,
and
by
then-
the way.
I know, and I hated that. But then just today, I had one of our coworkers sent me a Gorillaz song I'd never heard before, and I loved it. It was The Melancholy Hill. I really enjoyed that
People
one.
tell you to listen to music. You listen. That's interesting.
I do, and you didn't ask me to listen to anything, Kent. Except for Kent did create a Baconsale sampler platter
available now.
of all these bands. You
yeah.
get 2 songs from each one of these bands. Go to Spotify. We'll put a link in our social post as well, but you can listen to all these bands, so you can get a sampler platter
So
as well.
this one would be about the same because the album sales are almost negligible on both. They're
What?
about the same.
I got over 20 million records worldwide for Gorillaz and about 6 million albums worldwide
With
for
20
Arctic
million
Monkeys.
singles sold for Arctic Monkeys.
Singles. Yes, they are the internet band, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The weird stuff about the album, I guess the
the album
record
sales.
labels now is no one's buying albums. You look at like the early 2000s, it's like I sold 18 million albums. You look now, it's like I sold 400,000 because no one buys albums
But
anymore.
yeah, in regard to songs sold,
And so you can't just say, oh, are they relevant? Because back in the day, some of these were
I'm
sold.
still voting for Gorillaz.
Oh, of course you are. But you need to understand the music industry. Jake, vote for Gorillaz.
Kent, I hate to disappoint you
No, you don't.
again.
Not on this show.
So I won't.
No, don't do this just because you want to go.
In no world would I ever choose Gorillaz.
Why not?
Over
Actually, why not?
Arctic Monkeys.
Why not?
Because one of them's good. And one
It's
of them's
the Gorillaz.
annoying.
Gorillas are still good.
No, the Gorillas are annoying.
Okay,
They're
you
repetitive.
you sold it too far to Jacob, who just that he wants to just please you now.
He's pulling a
No way.
He normally
Yeah,
does for
he
you. On
usually
the
does for me,
shows.
but it's for you.
So this is the 34%. There's Arctic Monkey songs I will choose to listen to.
Yeah.
Still, they're still good. Gorillas, I got tired of them even when they were in their heyday.
Okay, Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah, in his heyday. He never saw the music video. He's obviously lying.
I had a radio. All right, next match is The Fray
With such hits as Over My Head, How to Save a Life, and You Found Me.
versus 30 Seconds to Mars.
With hits like The Kill and From Yesterday, they had 5 top 100
And
hits.
Attack, don't forget
and
Attack.
Yes, of course.
So the funny thing
this is an interesting matchup.
The funny thing about
Like,
30 Seconds to
strange.
Mars is that it's Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Which I always like, was he a musician first? Was he an actor first? And it seems like it happened like right at the same time.
Yeah, he does whatever he wants.
He does everything good
It's-
except for being a Joker.
It's
That
true.
he does badly.
It's he and his brother in this band.
Yeah.
And when they were promoting the band, he was like, "Do not use my celebrity to promote the band in any poster or anything." The record label, of course, is like, "You're Jared Leto. You're on My So-Called Life and other things." I do like how he went with My So-Called Life.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
A celebrity.
exactly. But he didn't want to be famous. He didn't want the band to be loved based on the movies he's been in, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is
But
cool.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
No, I appreciate that as well.
So album sales for The Fray has 4 million versus 30 Seconds to Mars has 15 million.
Yeah, I had 8 million for
is
The Fray,
tough.
but we'll go with that.
Are you guys going to leave this to me again? That'll be scary.
Probably.
Why don't you go first on this one, Jacob?
Ooh. Oh, I can just vote with my heart really fast. That'll
Yeah.
be great. 30 Seconds to Mars.
Really?
I'm shocked.
Because The Kill. I love that song. I don't even listen to it much anymore, but it like still has a place in my heart. And The Fray it might as well be elevator music. Like
No, it's
all
kind of
their
is.
songs sound the same.
If
they're
you
all
do-
good.
If you sing
but
Grey's Anatomy,
they're fine.
you've heard The Fray.
If you've watched Scrubs, you hear The Fray.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
The emotional parts. By the way, The Fray, they got their name after asking band members to put names on a piece of paper which they picked randomly out of a hat. And they said it's basically because they always got into a fray about writing music.
Yeah.
Whereas 30 Seconds to Mars, much more philosophical. It was taken from a rare manuscript titled Argus Apocryphex.
Oh, Jared Leto, you're so pretentious.
And so he
is
said
so
it's a
pretentious.
metaphor
that
for the
almost
future.
turns it down
Listen,
for me,
yeah.
honestly, because
He
Jared
said-
Leto's annoying. But
He said, 30 Seconds to Mars, the fact that we're so close to something that's not a tangible idea. Also, Mars being the god of war really makes it interesting as well. You could substitute that in there, but what's important for my brother and I is that we be imaginative and really represent the sound of our music in a unique way as possible.
that makes me want to vote for The Fray. And I don't even like him.
I'm going to vote for The Fray because I like Attack a lot. That's actually my favorite 30 Seconds to Mars song.
Right.
And not just because of the screaming, because it's one of those we just get mad. When you're mad, you listen to that one and you feel good. But really, that's kind of not my sound as much. Like in moderation, sure. The Fray, like you said, Jacob, and I'm going to agree with you here.
Yeah.
It's pleasant elevator music that you can just
Yeah.
listen to and enjoy and relax to.
That's an oxymoron. Pleasant elevator music.
Elevator music by nature is supposed to be pleasant.
Music is
Yeah.
pleasant.
That's why they put it in there, because it's
Oh, it's
pleasant.
just
pleasant
awful.
is the word to describe it.
It's a dentist office. That's pleasant.
No, that's not pleasant.
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars all the way. It makes me actually want to belt in the car.
Yeah,
And I don't even
yeah.
know most of their songs, but I'm like,
Makes me want to
this
strangle
is
myself with
awesome.
a belt in the
Oh,
car.
yeah, they have some great songs.
What?
Next match is Vampire Weekend.
With such hits as Mansard Roof, A-Punk, Oxford Comma, and Cape Cod Kwasa Kwasa.
Oh, yeah, everyone knows those. Versus The Strokes.
With hits such as Last Night, Juicebox, and Someday.
So I have Vampire Weekend with 4 million album sales and
I
The
have
Strokes with about 7 million.
I have Strokes at
Sounds about
13
right.
million.
13, okay.
So, but yeah, and so sales, Strokes is obviously doing better here.
Yeah, so Vampire Weekend, their award is the Ant-Man of the 2000s hipster scene
Right?
because they're forgettable.
Oh.
And The Strokes, they're the best the.
Oh,
The
the best
best,
does, though? It's the Strokes? So you're voting for the Strokes.
Well, oh man, yes I am. Vampire Weekend, that album, critics freaking love it. The self-titled
And
Vampire
you don't
Weekend
like
album.
it?
I liked it back in the day, but I actually don't like.
Is that what we're doing? No? No, we're not doing that.
But the Strokes album, Is This It, is loved by critics. Where Vampire Weekend is liked, they are number 2 on Rolling Stone, number 7 Pitchfork, number 4 Stereo Gum, number 1 Consequence of Sound, number 1 NME. It is number 199 on Rolling Stone's 500 best albums of all time. Julian
Number what?
Casablancas,
101?
number 199. Julian Casablancas, lead singer of The Strokes, his solo stuff is probably better than the Strokes albums. But just the legacy here is so 2000s. Whereas Vampire Weekend, passing fancy.
But they were Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, which you love.
Stop that.
They were in I Love You Man, which I love.
I do love that movie.
And they were in Twilight, the Eclipse, Twilight Saga Eclipse, which you love.
Well, actually, the Twilight soundtracks are pretty solid. Putting that out there. Yeah, they're solid.
Thank you, Kent, for that. Thank you.
I've read the books, Joel. Do you want me to make more admissions
I
here?
love this so much. I'm going to have to go with the Strokes on this one as well.
Yeah.
It's a sweep. Joel, I love that this is the matchup.
You're welcome.
Jack Johnson.
With such hits as Flake, Sitting, Waiting, Wishing, and Banana Pancakes.
And listener, you should already know who it's against. John Mayer.
No Such Thing, Daughters, Your Body is a Wonderland, Paper Doll. There's actually over 20 top 100 hits.
Now this-
whereas Jack Johnson has
Now,
7 top 100
Jacob,
hits.
John Mayer has sold over 20 million albums worldwide.
Yeah.
How many has Jack Johnson sold?
46 million.
Isn't that crazy?
Are you joking?
I'm not joking. Over double. He's like at the same level as who was that we were talking about earlier with the 50 million?
Was it Avril Lavigne or Nickelback?
I think it was Nickelback.
Yeah.
He's up there with Nickelback in album sales. Jack Johnson.
Well, who is he selling these to?
Hawaiians?
Off-worlders?
He's
Like,
in-
that doesn't make
he's
sense.
from North Shore, Hawaii.
You actually get them
Hawaii.
for free. You actually just look for shells on the beach when you're making your puka shell necklace.
Making
and you find
banana
Jack Johnson
pancakes.
albums.
Oh, my gosh.
So Jack Johnson was a professional surfer,
Yeah.
but his career ended at 17 when he suffered a surfing accident that put more than 150 stitches in his forehead and removed a few of his teeth, which explains his songs.
I thought it was kind of cool. He actually,
Yes, it does.
He actually studied film and he struck a few surf films even before he got famous as a singer.
True.
He's a family man, an activist, and a singer. Whereas here's John Mayer, which we've talked about how much we hate this
Yeah.
guy's music. Your Body's a Wonderland.
I like some of his
gosh.
music.
But his award is Time Has Been Kind. His discography now, since then, I would say he's grown up. And as a blues musician, he's probably the most talented guy in our bracket.
And
John
Ken,
Mayer.
John Mayer has been married, has never been married, but has been romantically linked to Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jessica Simpson, Minka Kelly, Jennifer Aniston, and Katy Perry.
Wow. But more importantly, he's collaborated.
Jennifer Aniston? She's got like 25 years on him.
He's collaborated with B.B. King, Buddy Guy, Eric Clapton, and the surviving Grateful Dead. Like the legacy of this guy, he's so respected in the music community.
John Mayer.
John Mayer is.
He's not always respected, though. I'm not going to get into it, but he had a very controversial interview
Yes.
where he said some kind of racist and horribly disgusting things. And he got
does
raked-
kind of horribly disgusting.
kind of horribly disgusting.
One thing I kind of love, though, is
Baconsale.
he became fascinated with guitars after watching Marty McFly play guitar in
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
But he got raked across the coals for that interview and kind of had a little grow up moment where he had to be
Sure.
like, okay, I've got to change
Early
my thing.
apologies in the 2000s or early
Jack
2010s.
Johnson, though, he reminds me of college because everyone was listening.
does
to
he
him,
remind you of
and
everyone you
everyone
hated
was
in college?
playing him.
Everyone you hated in college.
No, in fact, one of my good friends, he was a big fan of Jack Johnson. He kind of introduced me to him, and so I got to go with Jack Johnson. And I think he's the nicer, better guy too. So I'm voting Jack Johnson.
I'm going with talent here.
More sales. You're going with more sales.
I'm going with talent.
'Cause you
Talent
love
doesn't
John Mayer.
Talent doesn't mean more sales. Does Transformers, is that better?
Talents in regard to money.
Oh, here we go. We're going to go parables? Yeah, it's John Mayer for me because actually I want to get more into his albums having listened to him more this week.
Wow.
Like, it's solid stuff.
It's not Jack Johnson.
It's better because Jack Johnson belongs in 2002. John Mayer is legacy.
Oh, he belongs in the 2000s?
2002
Wow,
only.
that's a coincidence. That's the bracket we're doing, Kent.
I'm going legacy and music that's actually good now.
Never thought I'd hear so much arguing between Jack Johnson and John,
John
Mayer.
Mayer.
And also, I feel like I'm having another worldly experience where Kent is defending John Mayer.
I don't know who I am.
I'm like,
surreal.
I literally keep thinking about this. I don't even know how to process it.
I know.
Your body is a wonderland, Kent. This is the guy.
You said it.
You know I did. It's going to get quoted on Twitter.
Oh, crap.
Thank you. I've been working out. I've been twice this week to the gym.
Again, man, I hate to agree with you again. This is like 3 in a row, but it's John Mayer.
No.
Yes.
He's
Why
better.
am I so passionate about John Mayer? I don't know.
You guys enjoy your vote. I hope that sits well with you.
Listener,
It sits
be
very
good
well
to
with
your
me.
bracket.
All right, next matchup. Silver Sun Pickups
With such hits as Panic Switch and Lazy Eye.
versus the Killers.
They had a few hits, I think.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
Do you really want me to talk about Mr. Brightside? Somebody told me all the things I've done. Smile like you
when
mean
you
it.
were young. They had
Read my
11
mind.
top 100 hits.
Bones.
Silver Sun Pickups, I have 3 million albums sold. and the Killers have 28 million.
That's
Am I
about
low
right.
on that end?
No, 20
That
million's
sounds
about right.
I'm surprised it's only
But Silver
28.
Sun Pickups
Sounds low.
Yeah, so that's about right.
It's probably like in like single downloads and stuff that's messing that up.
that's true.
Because Mr. Brightside is still one of the best sellers, like downloads
yeah.
online. Yeah.
Silver Sun Pickups is one of those bands you put on there. I'm like, who is this? And then I turn on Lazy Eye and I'm like, oh, I know that song.
Oh, I'm not that way at all. I love Silver Sun Pickups.
Yeah?
I love them. Yeah, they're like probably in my top like 15 rotation.
But if we were to pick soundtrack of my college years,
Yeah.
Killers would definitely be it.
Which one?
All of them. Like
Which album?
Like mostly
Sam's
Hot
Town.
Fuss.
Sam's Town
Hot Fuss for
is
me was
perfection.
It is.
And I would listen to these songs on repeat. I'd sing along. I'd be in the car going,
Yeah.
I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. I think Brandon Flowers is a very talented guy.
Again, that feels too on the nose for you. Other people like that, you know. People like that song. Are you sure you're with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and actually, I have a personal connection to the Killers as well. Ted Sablé. I worked with him, and he is the rhythm and lead guitar, keyboards, and backing vocals for the Killers.
Call him. Let's get him on Baconsale.
He's been touring with them like for a long time. In fact, it's funny. I was looking at his years when he was active in the band, and it's like between 2007 and 2011, he wasn't with them because he was working with me.
Yeah.
And then the Killers came to concert, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come to the concert?" And you know all that. And I was like, "I'm busy. I can't remember what I had going on. But for some reason, I thought it was more important."
Dang it.
They were backstage playing ping pong with the Killers before the show.
Oh, man.
And I missed out on it.
Yeah, I saw him last year in concert.
Kicking myself then for not voting for Killers, so I'm voting for him now. The Killers.
Jake, what would you say?
Look, I had to give my love to Silver Sun Pickups because Panic Switch, Lazy Eye.
I saw them open for Muse a couple
they're-
years ago. They were great.
They're cool. Like I really
Yeah.
like the. I mean, I really like these guys. But the Killers.
Which one?
Silver Sun Pickups.
That's my band's name in college.
Wait, you're in the Silver Sun Pickups?
Oh, it's confusing. It's very confusing. But the Killers. I mean, Hot Fuzz, Sam's Town. These albums are they're so amazing. These are very impressive rock albums.
Yeah, and Silver Sun Pickups, they got the Diet Smashing Pumpkins Award. So, Killers.
That's kind of fair.
All the
actually.
way.
Somebody told me you had a boyfriend who looked like a girlfriend that I
Sweet Mercy, we have made it to the second half.
These
The
shows.
first half of the show.
Should this be 4 shows?
Let's just get through them quick.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
It's going to be at least 2 fights in this next one.
I hope so.
Yeah, we keep the fights fast. First match of the next. My goodness, there's a lot of these. Okay, Coldplay.
With hits such as Yellow, Clocks, The Scientist, and Viva La Vida.
21 top 100 hits for them.
Versus Jason Mraz.
With I'm Yours, The Remedy, and I Won't Give Up, they have 8
Lucky.
top 100 hits.
So Jason Mraz is an interesting story because he had The Remedy, which was a huge hit.
What was the remedy to?
So I
No.
won't worry. But, so he had that.
Don't get distracted.
So bad.
And then he kind of walked away from it. He's like, that's not who I want to be. That's not my sound.
Yeah.
And then he came back later and did I'm Yours and Lucky, which was much
He
more.
put on the magic fedora. He's
Yeah,
like,
the
this is
magic
the
fedora.
hitmaker right here.
By the way, Ken, I think you'd appreciate this. First of all, his Jason Mraz's surname is Czech for frost. And then he owns a 5.5 acre avocado farm in California.
But who does he sell the avocados to?
I don't know.
Coldplay.
Chipotle.
Oh, that's right. I did know that.
Poison Avocados by Jason Mraz. Believe it or not, though, guys, I don't know if you'll actually understand this, but Jason Mraz, he got to start playing in coffee houses.
I am shocked,
Shocking.
Kent.
That is
Jason
shocking.
Mraz, who gets the whitest guy on the list award.
Kent, did you know that he was actually a member of the cheerleading squad, school chorus, and drama club? He started as Joseph in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Go, 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 Joe.
Why are we giving Jason so much time?
Because he's not going forward.
No, we're giving it to Coldplay.
Do you guys like him? Do you guys like Jason Mraz?
I do actually. I do. Well, I do. I like his songs. I should clarify.
I won't give up. I mean, it's just pretty, but I mean,
I'd
that's
rather
what these are.
peel back my fingernail
Oh,
than listening
wow.
to an entire album by Jason Mraz.
Wow.
I'll do it right now.
Pure hard facts. 100 million records sold worldwide by
Sweet
Coldplay.
mercy.
That is one of the
We'll
largest
get
numbers
into
we've had
them.
on there. And then Jason Mraz 7 million. So this isn't just opinion. This is also factually based. Coldplay's advancing.
Fingernail coming off right now. You can do
Jacob,
toenails
you
too
voting
if you
for
like.
Coldplay too?
Yeah, I would have to be Coldplay. I do like Jason Mraz, but not as much as Kent.
And it was called Yellow.
All right, next match is Metric.
Such as Help I'm Alive, Black Sheep, and Gold Guns Girls.
Yeah, this is really eclectic music. It's interesting. It's cool.
Yeah.
Versus Death Cab for Cutie.
With Soulmate's Body and I Will Possess Your Heart.
And I Will Follow You into the Dark. And You Are a Tourist. Oh, I love that one too.
You love that one with whispers.
I actually like both of these
with
bands.
whispers.
So it's funny because Black Sheep, obviously Scott Pilgrim versus the World, it's in
Right.
that with Brie Larson singing it.
Yes.
And then Help I'm Alive is on my
good.
Halloween rotation list. It's
So,
like kind of Halloween-y.
I have about 5 million albums for Metric and 7 million for Death Cab.
Is that all?
Pretty close.
Yeah, 4 million for Death Cab for Cutie, 3.5 for Metric is what I
So
have.
Metric, I have them as the better Paramore. And then Death Cab, I have them as Hipster Sprite.
They're not anything like Paramore.
They're the better Paramore.
Paramore is all about vocals. Metric is like
It's synthesized
muted.
and
Yeah. That's very different sounds to me.
And Metric is definitely one of those synthesized bands. Like for a while there, they couldn't perform their shows live because they didn't have the technology to do it live on
Right.
stage.
Wow.
Man, this is an
I'll
easy
start.
for me.
I'll start.
Do it.
Yeah.
It's Death Cab.
I remember you talking about Death Cab before, and you were praising them.
Well, yeah, they're really good.
Well, their name was actually, so it was taken from a song by the band Bonzo Dog Doodah Band.
The Death Cab for Cutie, yeah.
Yeah, Death Cab
Yeah.
for Cutie. And Ben Gibbard, he actually regrets using that. He wished he used a more like streamlined name.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was like this silly kind of goofy band, and they sing a song called "Death Cab for Cutie," and I watched the video.
Yeah.
it's a fine song, but I'm like, why did they pick that?
Yeah,
I
it's
do
weird.
love that Death Cab hit it really big because 3 of their songs were used on The OC, which is a fantastic show.
Whereas once again, Metric is on Twilight Eclipse.
Well, Twilight has great soundtracks. I'm saying it again. Muse is on every single soundtrack. Also, remember how we talked about how these bands have the lamest origins? Metric, which is this awesome sounding band,
Yeah.
they met at a school for the arts, and one of the founders went to Juilliard. And you're like, you guys are so rebellious from Juilliard.
I'm from Juilliard.
I do want everyone listening to listen to Old World Underground, Where Are You Now, which is Metric's first album. It is sensational. Just didn't chart. It was definitely college radio.
Are you voting for Metric?
I don't think I've heard that. No.
I'm going for Metric on this one because Metric is still great. Death Cab, those are great songs.
Oh, they are still great. I Will Possess Your Heart.
But they feel
Fantastic ballad.
and they do fit in the 2000s really well. Whereas Metric is kind of time spanning for me. But it's Metric still
that's
gets
a
my
reasonable
vote.
argument,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
I got to go for Death Cab for Cutie.
Of course.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, that's fine. I just really like Metric. I'm glad they made the list.
All right, next match is the Shins.
Such hits as New Slang, Phantom Limb, and Simple Song.
Can't wait to hear how they got their name. Versus Simple Plan.
With Perfect and Addicted, and they had 6 top 100 hits.
I'm just a kid. I'd do anything. How could this happen to me? I almost
sounds like you're just telling us a story now.
I almost started whining. How
I'm
could
just a
this happen to me? Like it is. Simple Plan is like one of those epitome of whiny
They are,
yeah.
college rock.
It's like that punk pop thing. It's
Yeah.
like, this is them to a T. It's like, oh man, how did this make it big?
So sales, Shins around 1.5 million. Simple Plan around 15 million.
The Shins, their award is Harmless College Radio Songs, whereas Simple Plan is the human equivalent of a mosquito flying in your ear
And biting you.
and biting you, but still just kind of hanging out. And you're
You know
like,
what's
wait,
amazing?
are you 40? And you're singing, I'm just a kid.
Well, okay,
yeah.
and the Shins, they've had a lot of turnover in their band too.
Well,
Like,
the whole band except for the lead singer.
yeah, like it's like they
kicked them out.
It was most of the Wikipedia article was about everyone leaving the band.
Yeah.
And they got their boom into the mainstream because they were featured in Garden State.
Yes.
The soundtrack for that.
With New Slang.
Where Natalie Portman said, quote, "This song will change your life."
Yeah.
I listened to New Slang. It's a good song. Didn't change my life. I'm voting for Simple Plan. Because, Kent, I don't know if you remember.
Okay.
When we were building this bracket, we had a couple open slots, and you put the bands out there. Which one should we do? And I said, put Simple Plan in. Put Simple Plan in. Put Simple Plan in. Because I legitimately enjoy their songs. As whiny and as immature as they are, I still enjoy
They're
them.
bottom rung for mall punk for me.
I'd do anything.
And have you heard Broken Bells, which is the lead singer of the Shins, working with Danger Mouse, who did Gnarls Barkley? Broken Bells is quite good as well. Granted, Shins had less hits, but for me, they are definitely 2000s, not like the 90s crossover that Simple Plan was, and they're a lower Good Charlotte. So Shins for me. Jake, break the tie.
Well, this is frustrating because I don't have strong feelings for either. And, well, actually, let me say this. I don't have strong positive feelings for either.
Yeah.
and because I have somewhat negative feelings towards Simple Plan.
Don't
Sorry,
do it.
Joel.
Don't do it.
I can't keep them because
You have to
I
keep
enjoy
them.
the Shins in a passive way, but I dislike Simple Plan. Like I
Jacob,
wish they didn't exist.
They've performed at Vans Warped Tour every year from 1999 to 2005, and then 2011, 2013, 2015, 2018. They're still.
I want 'em
picture
off the
this.
radio.
Picture a
I want 'em off
45-year-old
our
man.
bracket.
Picture a 45-year-old Canadian man going, "I'm just a kid and life is a nightmare."
Hey, Jake,
That is pretty funny to imagine.
your
actually.
voting was perfect.
You guys can't even sing any of those Shin songs.
I could right now.
I couldn't.
Gold teeth and a curse for this town. We're all in
All right, next match is Queens of the Stone Age
Such as No One Knows, Little Sister, and The Way You Used to Do.
versus against Jimmy Eat World.
They charted with The Middle, Sweetness, and Pain.
And Lucky Never Met and Call It Near and Bleed American and Last Christmas and Sweetness and a Praise Chorus and Hear You Me and If You Don't, if you Get It Faster and the Authority song.
They charted with those songs.
But I love the Jimmy Eat World so much.
I know.
And I don't
Hold
care.
on, are you
I don't
okay?
care.
Joel, slow down.
I don't care about Queens of
Joel?
the Stone Age. I love Jimmy Eat World.
Joel, slow
love
down.
them.
Okay, so I feel like we should talk.
Marry me, Jimmy Eat World.
You got to take some time. I'm scared right now. Jake, I feel like we can't vote for Queens of the Stone Age.
I think I need to vote for Jimmy Eat World. I don't know why. It's just this feeling I have somewhere. I don't know.
So the award I gave
I'm
to
not
Queens of the
afraid.
Stone Age is I'm not sure why.
Joel has a knife.
I know. I'm not sure why I didn't listen to them more because they are loved, and having listened to more of their songs here, like during this week, he's holding
Jimmy Eat World or Joey Kill Baconsale.
So their albums, Queens of the Stone Age, are loved, and I do love that he's worked with Dave Grohl and John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin. That said, I know Jimmy Eat World more, and they are definitely early 2000s. That's probably where they stay. And because Joel's gonna stab me, but they also, and this is good for Joel. The award they got is they're on the Provo Dude playlist.
I totally was a bro.
So true.
It's the opening track for the Provo Dude playlist.
Yeah.
I actually was kind of offended by Queens of the Stone Age when they say they're commonly abbreviated as QOTSA. And I'm like, that's a terrible abbreviation. How do you even say that?
You're offended by that?
That's what you're offended by,
Yeah,
or you
I'm offended.
just really love
Well,
Jimmy Eat
I was
World.
offended by a couple of things they said about that, but
Queens of the Stone Age actually sold twice the number of albums, though.
yeah, they did. It's true.
What?
This-
No.
twice.
You're lying.
It's
I
11,
don't believe
around
you.
11 million down for Queens of Stone Age, around 4 million for
That's
Jimmy
not
World.
possible.
Isn't that
Probably
crazy?
5
Like, I literally don't believe you.
It's weird.
There
though.
is no way. Queens of the Stone Age?
Yeah.
Who freaking cares? No way. Their music is not nearly as good.
It's quite good, actually.
It
It's
is
just we didn't listen to it. Yeah.
That's probably true. I listened
Josh
to
Homme, he's a very talented guy.
I should clarify. I gave these bands a shot. Like each one
Right.
of them, I went in and listened to
Right.
their biggest hits to see kind of how they.
You just can't go
resonated.
against Jimmy Eat World, though.
Never.
No.
Well,
that's crazy.
We'll see down the road, but never right now.
Never right now. Jimmy Eat World.
It just takes some time, little girl, in the middle of the ride.
All right, next match. Audio Slave.
With such hits as Cochise, Like a Stone, and Original Fire.
Show Me How to Live. Versus Five for Fighting.
With Superman, It's Not Easy, 100 Years, and The Riddle.
Do you know what blew my mind? Like, literally, this is just a fact I learned while researching the show.
Is it about Five for Fighting?
Yes. Is it that Fight for Fighting is just one guy?
It's his stage name. His
What?
name is Vladimir John Ondrasik III.
Yes. And apparently producers
What a
thought...
weirdo.
Producers thought,
Yeah.
hey, that might be a little proud for people to say. Why don't you go by a different name? He's like, I choose Five for Fighting.
And that voice is correct because he was born in 1965. He was like 70 years old in the 2000s. He was
Wow.
a big hair metal guy.
This is weird.
and he
He was
tried
in glam metal
He
for
tried
a
to make
while.
it big in the 80s.
I had no idea.
But then
I know.
grunge came around, and he's like, well, that's not really going to work for me. So it took him like another 10 years after that.
This makes me like him more.
That's one dude?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting story.
What about this fact? Ondrasik, as Fight for Fighting is known in his birth name, he expressed a distaste for Saturday Night Live and has called the long-running comedy series, quote, a swath of comedic cowards in the house of a cool kid wannabe culture warriors.
Wow. That feels really apt, actually.
The award that he gets is I've never seen him and Jane Blunt in the same room.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you.
But then you get Audio Slave. Now, Audio Slave was kind of this power band of, well, it was Rage Against the Machine without
Chris Cornell.
Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah.
And then they got Chris Cornell to kind of step in as the lead man and change their sound.
Oh, by the way, albums for Audio Slave, 15 million. Fight for Fighting, 5 million. Roundabout.
About that, yeah. So, and I actually really enjoy Audio Slave's sound and like Cochise. I love singing along to Cochise.
Yeah.
And like a
Interesting,
Stone,
that one.
so good.
Cochise,
I
really?
know.
I know. When you said, put this on the playlist, I'm like, but there's better songs.
But I don't know why Cochise
love it.
resonated.
Cochise is a little noisy.
I once
honestly.
sang along with Cochise so enthusiastically that the part when they have the big scream in the middle,
Yeah.
I kind of made blood rush to my head. I almost passed out.
Yeah, there's magic with Chris Cornell's like beautiful voice and Tom Morello's guitar.
Yeah.
It
So
just
good. It's true.
works. And so
this a
Vladimir
sweep?
John Ondrasik III is going to go bye-bye. He's
Yeah,
getting
he
5.
is.
Yeah, I'm voting for Audio
Okay.
Slave. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
I thought we all assumed it was a sweep.
No,
Yeah, his face, though.
I feel bad because Fight for Fighting is one of my wife's favorite bands, and I'm sorry, honey, but I'm voting for Audio Slave.
Yeah, Audio Slave's a powerhouse there. All right, next match is Chevelle.
with such hits as The Red, Send the Pain Below, and Vitamin R.
Versus Paramore.
With Misery Business, Ain't It Fun, That's What You Get, Still Into You, they have 11 top 100 hits.
Yeah.
So album sales
You
for
didn't hit
Chevelle.
like the slow dance one. What is that one?
Crush, Crush, Crush.
Nah.
That's what you get.
So Chevelle has 5 million albums sold, and Paramore has 7 million.
I had 13 million on them.
For Paramore?
For Paramore,
Oh,
yeah.
not too shabby.
Yeah.
Chevelle, the award they get is the Bro Rock Award. 'Cause it's all about Bro Rock. And Paramore gets, I involuntarily like this.
I'm not kidding. This is true. Hot Topic hosted listening parties of the Twilight film soundtrack that Paramore was featured on.
See?
Literally.
Great soundtracks.
Yeah. Chevelle, I'm not really familiar with. Like, I listened to it and I'm like, I get it, but
It was cool a couple of times in
But
the
then
2000s.
Paramore, I know. Like, they have a very distinct sound and a feel. Although Hayley Williams is the only constant member of the band.
It's like the Shins.
The only thing I found interesting about Chevelle was the fact that during a show in Fort Worth, Texas, their trailer was stolen with all their equipment in it. And so they had to post a note saying, hey, it'll say Chevelle on it. If you could bring it back, that'd be
Aw.
great.
Also,
Wow, that's so sad.
Chevelle, the band, was 3 brothers, and then one of them left, so they replaced him with a brother-in-law. So they're keeping it in the family.
That's funny.
Yeah, so for that reason, it's Chevelle.
What?
No, it's Paramore. That's a joke. Chevelle's a joke.
Paramore? Jacob?
Paramore.
That's what you get when you let your heart win.
All right, next match is Lifehouse.
Hanging by a Moment, You and Me, First Time, Whatever It Takes, Spin, Take Me Away.
Can you sing Hanging by a Moment right now?
Hanging
I'm falling even more in love with you.
You got to sound more like a cow when you sing. Desperate for changing.
versus One Republic.
It's to apologize.
Which, okay. I'd like to apologize, Ken, right now.
Order fries.
Because I heard One Republic and I was like, what, apologize? They're like basically a one-hit wonder.
But
And
then,
then,
Stop and Stare, Counting Stars, Good Life. They have 13 top 100 hits.
Dude, that was
Yeah.
crazy. You thought they were one hit wonder.
no, it was more of the things I was like, the first impression, I was like, who? And then I was like, oh yeah, they sing all these other songs too. So, but Lifehouse for me, I actually saw Lifehouse in concert. They were performing at the arena at UVU.
Okay.
It was like half full because they had the partition there. And I remember them saying like, this is back in like 2000s when they were first coming out. They're like, this is the biggest crowd we've ever played for. We're so excited. And I was like, really? This is the
Aw.
biggest crowd? But it was still a great concert and they did a great job.
Do you know why? Because they're the JV Nickelback. Lifehouse is. That's the word. I found out some facts from them on their page.
JV Nickelback. I don't think they're even that, man.
Cooking and eating are the band's favorite pastimes. Yes, they eat Twinkies, pickles, and even Big Macs. They have different interests besides music. Jason loves watching horror movies. Rick loves classic cars, Volkswagens in particular. Bryce loves basketball, and Ben loves his dog. And then they say, our
These are the most
drummer,
boring guys ever.
our drummer is actually the best dancer. When asked about what makes Lifehouse different from other bands, Ben Carey wittingly claims that Rick is the best dancer in town.
They have nothing to say.
They have nothing to say.
Look,
But they sold 15 million albums.
Lifehouse is one of
innocuous.
they're one of the 2 bands in this entire bracket that played the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 2007. Them and Good Charlotte. I voted for
Nobody-
Lifehouse. I like Lifehouse.
Nobody plays.
Are you
the
really voting
parade.
for Lifehouse?
I'm voting for Lifehouse
over One Republic. Oh, yeah, you got
Yes.
confused about One Republic though.
It was One Republic. I was like,
He actually has the worst hair in this entire bracket. The
Who,
guy
One
from
Re-
One Republic.
One Republic guy?
It's so douchey.
I think you're forgetting, Kent, that Lifehouse
Looks like
had
ours.
many songs featured in.
Stop that.
Apparently, Kent's voting against Smallville because Lifehouse is featured prominently in Smallville a number of times.
Joel, you need to spend more time. I strongly encourage you spend more time listening to One Republic because I think you're going to like.
No, I like One Republic. I listen to them like, oh yeah, that song. Oh yeah, that song.
And go through the whole album. Their first 2 albums.
I would, but I fell asleep twice.
Of the vanilla garbage that is on this list, this is one of the better bands. Like of
Wait,
the tier 3
Lifehouse or
bands,
One Republic? Which one are you talking
One
about?
Republic. Like of the bands that I'm just actually hating that you guys are like sending forward, this is one of the better ones. He's very talented. Has produced some of the better albums
He
of
is.
that decade.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Because
Timbaland?
he is
Timbaland produced it.
Well, that too. That's that too.
Their hit wasn't a hit until Timbaland got involved.
this guy wrote tons and tons of songs that were all recorded by other people before.
by Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Adele.
Yeah, and he's super talented.
Why can't he do the same thing for his band?
He does. His band is
Because
awesome.
those are both better than One Republic.
No, well, I mean, yeah,
Apologize right now, Joel.
It's too late, Joel. Now it's too late. He has a quote I really like.
Okay.
You were only as good as your worst song. I don't
So
know. I really
they're as
like-
good as all their songs. Is that what you're saying?
You're voting
because they're
for
all the
that?
same.
No, I'm just kidding. It's One Republic for the win.
One Republic.
Sorry, Joel.
It's too late to apologize.
All right, next up is The Used
with such hits as Under Pressure with My Chemical Romance, The Taste of Ink, The Bird, and The Worm.
They have 10 top 100 hits. The
I'm not
Used
gonna,
does.
I'm not
What?
going to read all these.
Isn't that no?
They
I'm
have
saying,
10?
isn't that crazy?
That is
is
crazy.
crazy.
Used.
Like top what? Like were they like
Top 100
99
Billboard.
over
Yeah.
and over again?
Probably over and over again.
Versus Evanescence.
With Bring Me to Life, My Immortal, Call Me When You're Sober, they have 5 top 100 hits.
Both very calm, quiet bands. Not a lot of screaming.
Wait, hold on.
Hey, they do have My Immortal.
Wait,
Yeah, but that
that's very
still gets
melodic,
old.
and then
Well, okay, so the Used, they actually have a lot of the same people in the band, like since the beginning.
Yeah.
Evanescence, it's just Amy Lee. Everyone else has left the band at one form or another.
Oh, really?
And so it's kind of, I always wonder why
Her
when I
voice
see that.
is cool.
It is a really cool voice.
Yeah.
The Used, by the way, from Orem, Utah. Did not
Yeah.
know that.
Really?
I may have known that in the back of my mind, but I
Makes
didn't
me
know
like
that.
them less, actually.
And then Evanescence from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yeah, I
it
didn't know
makes
that,
you
actually.
like them less.
Yeah.
That's mean.
Couldn't you do better than that, guys?
Where does the Used end up in your the rankings?
17. So they actually had to add the because the band in Boston was already using Used. And then Burt McCracken, he has a criminal record
That's
in
the
Canada.
guy's name.
Burt McCracken, which that's a tier 1 name. Burt McCracken, right?
Is it tier 1 or is it tier 3? Because you're right. It's a tier 1. It's tier 1.
So he has a record in Canada, and they had to cancel their concert dates in Canada because
Burt McCracken.
he said we have some teensy misdemeanors, which seems like under embellishment there. So the Used, they get the best trailer music award because their songs sound incredibly epic.
Oh, trailer music, like movie
Yeah,
trailers,
movie
not like
trailer.
listening to while in a trailer.
Yeah, that too, actually. But the Clash of the Titans trailer, which is surprisingly good, uses their music. Whereas Evanescence, their award might just be the coolest single of the 2000s.
It's pretty true.
Yeah.
It's funny too because they
My
actually
Immortal?
met.
Is that what you're saying?
The
Because
two-
Bring Me to Life.
Sorry, Bring Me to Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see. Those are both big hits for
Yeah.
me. Like,
Well, I
mean,
remember Going Under was one I really liked too. That was a later one.
Yeah, Going Under, too.
I was going to say, do you find it interesting, Jacob, that the two founding members of Evanescence met at a Christian youth camp in Little Rock?
I actually knew that.
Did you?
I was shocked.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they wrote, this is one of my favorite facts about Evanescence, by the way. Amy Lee, the lead singer, she claimed that she wrote a song for the 2005 film The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, but that it was rejected because of its dark sound. But the producers of Narnia, however, rebutted her claim, saying this information was news to them and that no Evanescence music had been planned for inclusion in the soundtrack.
It's like, why would you make up a weird lie like that?
Apparently, she's just writing up stuff like, I was going to do music for that movie.
Well, maybe they lied. Who knows?
No, she's a liar. Come on.
But she's a winner because I'm voting for Evanescence.
It's Evanescence.
I've already written their name in. All right, next match is Maroon 5.
Harder to Breathe, Makes Me Wonder, This Love, and She Will.
I feel like that should be in our pop.
You're singing There Will Be
Should this
Love?
be in our pop
No.
album? I don't know if this should be here.
There's no lyrics to it. It's just squawking.
I just
Just
know
like
it-
honking a horn over there.
Basically, the guy that takes off his shirt at the Super Bowl and cannot ever win on The Voice. You guys don't know what I'm talking about.
We don't watch The Voice.
Versus Shinedown.
We have Second Chance, If You Only Knew, and Save Me. They have 7 top 100 hits.
Second Chance is really the only one I recognized.
Maroon 5. Well, let's start here. Shinedown has sold 10 million albums.
Wow.
Maroon 5,
10 million?
Yeah, 10 million.
I'm shocked it's that high.
agreed.
I can't. That's probably
Maroon
wrong.
5, 120 million.
Yeah.
120 million. They are
That's because they're pop.
They're the
They
high
don't-
end.
They're not rock alternative.
Did you get them as the highest
On the list?
on our list of the highest
Correct.
albums sold?
Yep.
The problem is though that does include all their album sales
Yeah.
and they are still making
And they're
music
still
today.
going, yeah,
But
exactly.
they definitely, especially the first. What's the first album? The big one that went big in 2000s. Why am I blanking on it?
Songs About Jane.
Thank
No
you.
one cares.
Songs About Jane. That one really does have a 90 or a 2000s feel to it, like
It
a
does.
college age.
That's
feel
the
to
only
it.
reason it
That's-
can be here.
so-
Right? Are we in agreement about that?
When I
That's
was-
the reason it's here.
It's true. Shinedown, they're getting the award. It's the Collective Soul 2.0. And
Okay.
Maroon 5 has changed the station award. But how could you not give them the win here?
I don't. It's hard not to
They
give
got to
them
take
the
this
win.
first round,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, next match is AFI.
With such hits as Miss Murder, Love Like Winter, and The Leaving Song Part 2.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Versus the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
With Maps and Gold Lion.
Maps is such a great one.
It
Head
really
to
is.
roll.
Yeah,
Head to
yeah,
roll.
yeah. I think
Yes.
they just want you to stop
Skeletons,
talking.
Zero.
About it.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's where they got their name. They said it was that New York vernacular of yeah.
It's a trailer pitch as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Karen O, she's another one of those great vocalists.
She really is.
I
Did
really
you know
enjoy
she
her
composed the soundtrack to Where the Wild Things Are?
I heard
Not
that.
surprising.
And then she also did the cover of the Immigrant Song for
Yeah.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
It's great.
Great cover.
Both of these artists have sold very little. AFI is like at 5 million, whereas Yeah Yeah Yeah's around 3 million.
About that, yeah.
5
that
million.
crazy?
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and 3 million for Yeah Yeah
I felt
Yeah's.
like those guys were more influential than that.
AFI kind of like, they sound a lot like the Killers to me when I listen to their music.
A little bit heavier. So their award is the best guitar hero music because playing Miss Murder on Rock Band is amazing.
Yep.
Whereas Yeah Yeah Yeah's, I'm giving them the best lawn mowing music because that's usually what I listen to as I'm mowing the lawn. And
You're
it's
a
so
zero.
fun.
Yeah.
We
Well,
literally-
and Maps on Rock Band, holy crap. The drums on that,
It's
It's
awesome.
nuts. It's totally nuts.
So Fever to Tell, the album by Yeah Yeah Yeah's, is the 28th best album of the decade by Rolling Stone, 10th by Consequence of Sound, and number 5 by Enemy. So AFI, also known as A Fire Inside, that's what it stands for.
Or they also
I was
said-
going to say that fact.
They said it could be Asking for It or Anthems for Insubordinates.
yeah.
A Fire Inside.
When they formed the band in 1991, so an older band, none of them could play any instruments. They found a kid with a drum kit
That's cool.
to join the band, and then they learned how to play bass and guitar. And I mean, they really started because they're like, let's start a band. It's like Sing Street. That guy's got a drum kit.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. But then Yeah Yeah Yeah's, I'm giving my vote to them because of It's Blitz. I listened to It's Blitz, and it was one of the few albums where I listened to it and I loved it first listening almost every song. I thoroughly enjoy their music. Maps has almost all their songs has positive memories with me. Like Maps is driving around Hawaii with a bunch of my
Skeletons is so
college
good.
friends.
Yeah.
Zero, back when I was at this job, we would play Zero and have a dance break in the middle every time I
cool.
played in the
Yeah.
room. And Heads Will Roll is on my Halloween playlist, and the music video's got a werewolf in it. It's hilarious. But
It's
Yeah.
got the best hook.
Yeah Yeah Yeah's.
Is it a sweep?
Are you voting them too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. I'm
yeah.
AFI 100%.
Are you really?
Yes.
Actually, it's 0% because they just lost.
No, my heart's 100%. Miss Murder, Silver and Cold, Girls Not Grey,
No,
Love
cool
Like
songs.
Winter,
Very cool songs.
Leaving Song Part 2. I love these songs. These are amazing songs. Also, the Prelude. I don't know if you guys have heard that. It's short, but it's very cool. Goodbye, AFI, I guess.
Great band, not a winner.
Next up is Panic at the Disco.
Actually pronounced Panic at the Disco.
Holy crap, that scared me.
Oh, with such hits as I Write Sins on Tragedies and 9 in the Afternoon in the 90s.
And they had
Or in the 2000s.
In the
I keep doing
90s,
that.
huh?
I keep doing that. 2000s.
Altogether, they have 15 top 100 hits
Versus System of a Down.
with Chop Suey, Aerials, BYOB, Hypnotize, and Toxicity.
Chop Suey is one of the few songs on here that's featured on a Weird Al Yankovic polka song.
This is
I listened to them in the 90s.
This
so
is the hardest first round I can think of.
What?
This battle,
This one?
I struggle with.
This one?
This is what you're
100%.
Oh, the hipster in you.
Think
huh?
about Chop Suey, if you will. Like, is that a
Think
guilty
about
pleasure?
Frozen 2, if you will.
Guilty pleasure or guilty conscience with Chop Suey?
Yes.
I think we could all sing that song right now.
No.
But why?
I can't really.
You can't?
I can sing the Weird Al Yankovic version.
Well, of course you can. That's your thing. They sold 40 million, whereas Panic at the Disco,
System of a Down sold 40 million.
40
million.
million.
They haven't made an
What?
album since like 2015, was it?
No, 2005.
Oh, no, that's, yeah. Whoa, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
How did they sell
that-
15
that
million
many
albums?
No New
worldwide
Kill since
phenomenon.
Mesmerize and Hypnotize
That-
albums in 2005, yeah.
That's crazy. I
that
thought it was like
crazy?
hipster even knowing who they were.
So
and then
I,
Panic at the Disco is like 17 million, but they
Yeah.
are still going too.
They are still going. In fact, some of their-
it's Brandon Urie is the
Right.
only member who's remained.
some of their biggest hits are actually from their last album.
Yeah, they're
still
making a big
going.
resurgence.
Except for like now he's doing duets with Taylor Swift, and it's just
Yeah.
they kind of lost the edge.
No, he's just.
Well, he
he's
keeps trying to
mainstream
reinvent
now.
himself.
He's mainstream.
System of a Down, by the way, they got their name from a poem that one of the members had written called Victims of a Down, but they changed the name to System of a Down so that they could be alphabetically in CD stores and record stores next to one of their favorite bands, Slayer.
Slayer, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Man, System of a Down is such a guilty pleasure for me.
System of a Down also, they wanted to, for their second album,
Yeah.
they wanted to launch a free concert to thank all their fans. Problem was, the concert was only set to accommodate about 3,500 people, and about 10,000 people showed up, and there was a huge riot that lasted 6 hours. A bunch of people were arrested. It was terrible.
Thanks a lot, System of a Down.
Seriously.
What a downer. I'd have to go Panic. No, Panic at the Disco, they have. Honestly,
I give them the unique Snowflake Award because no other band in the 2000s is like this.
I'm sorry. Are you talking about System of a Down?
I get here's
Well,
the problem.
both.
I get
They're both unique
System of a Down or
snowflakes.
Panic at the Disco.
Panic of the Disco.
So I get them, My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, like the kind of.
It's Brendan Urie's voice. It is so unmistakable.
It is. It is.
Are you
mean,
voting for Panic at the Disco?
He hasn't voted yet.
I haven't voted yet. I want you to vote first.
Well, I'm voting Panic at the Disco.
Oh, okay, then I was hoping you just System of a Down so I could break it.
No, System of a Down I don't have any real affection for. It's kind of like,
So
oh yeah, I know. they're
fun
fine.
though.
But also, I want to bring this up. Panic! At the Disco also contributed a new song to the soundtrack for the video game Batman Arkham City.
I'm going to say that. They didn't. Frozen 2, Into the
Into
Unknown.
the unknown.
That's them.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
'Cause it's right in the afternoon, and your eyes are the size of the moon.
All right, next match is Stained.
With such hits as It's Been a While, Fade, Price to Play, So Far Away, and Right Here.
Mud Shovel. Versus,
What'd you call me?
it's such a weird song title, actually, isn't it? Versus Fallout Boy.
With Sugar We're Going Down, Dance Dance. Thanks for the murmurs.
Why'd they spell it like that?
Actually, I can tell you why.
Why?
It has no vowels because the label said they need shorter song titles. And so they went, okay, we got you. Thanks for the murmurs.
That's funny. I actually
is
like
funny.
that.
Uma Thurman, This Ain't a Scene. It's an arms race.
And
They
those
have
get a little more modern.
20 top 100 hits.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
They actually get the Cockroach Award. Fallout Boy never dies.
Well, it's weird you should say
They're
that.
kind of dead now.
Because they went through. No, they actually have a big resurgence going on right now. Fall Out Boy was one of those bands that went, oh yeah, those are the nerds who made the band. Like you see them and you're like, oh yeah, those are the losers who've made a band and now made it big. Good for them. Stained,
15 million albums.
15 million albums. So
12.
they have outsold them. Fall Out Boy's about 7.5 million.
I have 12
Oh
here.
no, over 7.5 million albums worldwide, and some estimates are around 30 million. And I'm like, that's kind of a range there. So
Stained gets the Who Turned My iTunes to Half Speed Award. Because
That's because you haven't heard Mud Shovel, is why.
that's what it feels like.
Go listen to Mud Shovel.
yeah. Also, Outside, the song by Stained, was also featured in a Whale You Can Fake polka song. Just so you know.
Okay, so they get the vote because it's a Weird Al.
No.
I'm going to vote first because I'm pretty sure you guys are going to vote against me. I'm going to vote for Stained.
Yeah, we're voting Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, I know.
But fun fact about Stained is Fred Durst also discovered them.
He did.
They sent them. and
No,
they
I
said-
did know this one, actually. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, he saw their album and he said that's grotesque because
They were playing at a concert, and he
Yeah.
saw their album cover, and he's like, get them out of
He
here.
said he called them theistic Satanists.
Wow.
Satanists.
But after
Fred
they-
Durst was judging them.
Thanks for protecting us, Fred Durst.
yeah.
But after they played, he was so impressed he signed them to Flip Records, which is his company.
No, I saw like one of the ways I got introduced listening to Sting was Fred Durst doing a thing because they were touring together and he was singing Outside live.
I'm looking outside.
And I was shocked. Like the song was like dark and mysterious and like kind of beautiful in like a creepy way. Okay. It was strange. Anyway, but you got Fred Durst in the background going, yeah, that's the
With his
real
red
deal.
cap.
y'all."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh man, you're ruining it, you weirdo. Next up is Dashboard Confessional,
With such hits as Screaming Infidelity, Saints and Soldiers, Hands Down, and Vindicated.
who no one we know likes. Literally, no one that we know likes this band.
What are you guys talking about? Are you talking about the fact that my wife said that if they don't advance at least
Didn't
one
you say
round, Baconsale is over and I can't come back? Is that what you're saying? She did say that. She laughed. When
I
she
think you
said
called
it.
her the prettiest listener at times.
I have, yes.
She threatened your life.
She said Baconsale's done if
Wait, is she
That's
going to stand by
respectful.
that?
I don't think
This is
so.
what kills Baconsale?
Maybe.
How much do you like Franz Ferdinand?
Well,
Franz
take me
Ferdinand.
out. Do you want to?
What was the heir to
Those are fun songs.
Franz Ferdinand was the heir presumptive to the throne of Austria-Hungary, and his assassination in Sarajevo is considered one of the most immediate causes of World War I.
I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, I don't like those band. I hate it when people just use their names. And I was like,
So
how do I
know?
tell you this?
So Franz Ferdinand, they got Darts of Pleasure and Take Me Out are their bigger hits.
Yeah. So Franz Ferdinand has sold 13 million. Dashboard or Chris Carrabba, basically.
Yeah, it's one
has
guy.
sold 5 million. I saw.
What?
Yeah.
I still am. I'm shocked by this.
Yeah.
So Chris Carrabba, I saw him in
Don't believe
concert.
it again.
I did too.
Did you? How many years ago?
Oh, it was probably 2010.
Did he sing the exact same songs that he sang at mine?
Okay, so here's the thing. It was like a multiple band thing down in Lehigh,
Right.
And the bands came out, and it's some were better than others. That's where I really disliked Colby Kelly because she was so boring.
Okay.
Aquabats were great, but then
Only in concert, by the way.
But Chris Carrabba came out, and that guy is a showman. Like he was keeping us entertained the entire time. And I kind of mock Chris Carrabba a lot of times. I'm like, he's the whiny guy in the corner with a guitar.
he is.
But he was a performer, and I was like, I get it. I get why people like him.
Interesting you say that because the award is I like this band, so my girlfriend will like me more. And Franz Ferdinand is great for commercials because basically that's where you hear his music is commercials or
did
advertisements.
contribute-
point, probably.
They did
yeah.
contribute to the Alice in Wonderland soundtrack in 2010.
Oh man! But Franz Ferdinand did win 2 Brit Awards for Best British Group.
Yep. I'm voting for Dashboard Confessional.
Is it because Taylor Swift is a big fan?
Yep. I'm voting for Dashboard Confessional.
Chris Caraba.
I think you would anyway.
Jake,
Probably.
would.
Jake, let me
Yeah,
throw this at you.
Yeah.
Chris Caraba says he enjoys having eye relations with a member of the audience, and he stares at them as he plays. He picks one person. He has eye relations.
I felt special when he did it, Kent.
no.
I felt special when he did it.
You?
That's so horrifying.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Of course he would. Jake, I don't know yet. You have to pick.
Are you kidding me?
Are you going Dashboard or you going Franz Ferdinand?
It would actually be really close, but since I don't want to upset the balance of Baconsale,
Please pick Dashboard.
Dashboard.
Okay, I'm picking Dashboard as well.
Yay.
Are we still good?
Baconsale continues.
We fought for this.
Well,
No integrity anymore, but we fought for this.
I like Take Me Out. And what was the other one?
Take
Darts
Me
of
Out
Pleasure.
feels more...
Darts of Pleasure. Yeah, I like those.
It feels more
but
2000s to me.
I have not gone back and listened to these. Of course, I haven't gone back to listen to Dashboard.
No, Franz
either.
Ferdinand, I'd almost call them a one-hit wonder, to be honest.
No.
I would just me.
Almost,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
My arms are so high that your kick might kill me. Someone should kill me.
All right, next match is Modest Mouse
With such hits as Float On and Ocean Breathe Salty.
And Dashboard.
versus Sum 41.
With Fat Lip, Still Waiting, Pieces.
Into Deep. Love that one.
So good.
Modest Mouse has about 3 million albums sold worldwide, and Sum 41 around 16 million albums worldwide.
I have a personal bias here. I love Float On.
Really?
For some reason, that song just connects with me. I would play that all the time.
This isn't our one-hit wonder show, though, Jacob.
Darts of Pleasure and Dashboard. I love those songs too.
We
Actually,
already talked about Dashboard. They already advanced.
So, Modest Mouse has the modern version of Louie Louie Award because a fake Jamaican
Cop car.
his voice is nuts.
Sum 41 has
Oh, what are they doing?
they're still going and they're great.
No, what are their voice sounds?
Sum
They're
41?
not
Yeah,
all
yeah.
the way going. They're having some issues here where
They literally came out with an album a year and a half ago.
but the problem is the band members keep falling off. The only one left is the lead singer Derek Whibley, and he actually posted on 2014 that he was having liver and kidney failure due to excessive drinking.
Yeah, isn't that sad? But
It's a little
amazing.
sad.
He actually literally almost died, and then he came back and
Thanks
came
a
out
lot,
with a great
Sum
album.
41.
Actually, it's Thanks a Lot, and this we'll get into this another show. Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, they were married.
They
for
were
a while.
married. She left him for Chad Kroger from Nickelback.
Who can blame her?
I can.
Have you heard his voice?
I can.
Sum 41 for Nickelback?
So Sum 41, they're the cream of the pop punk genre
Yeah.
for me. Like pop punk,
Yeah.
obviously low bar, but they
I
are
enjoy it.
the absolute cream. And
they're
even
more just like punk, honestly.
their albums are just great. Chuck is a masterpiece.
Yeah. Check it out, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and there's even new ones that come out in this decade.
I
Which
vote for Modest Mouse.
All killer, no filler, though.
Oh, sorry, Jake. We're not giving a lot to Modest Mouse. Let's talk more about Modest Mouse.
Nope. Let's just vote for somebody and move on.
With that skin. I do like they got their name from a Virginia Woolf book.
Sound Jamaican or something.
That's what it says. So Virginia Woolf described the poor in a book as modest, mouse-like people.
And that's what I got their name.
And then they said, we had to license a song for a Nissan Quest commercial, and they said it was blatantly commercial, but we need financial stability. And then people called the lead singer a sellout, and then he started calling them all names on social media.
Well, the thing is, he was
Wow.
like, if you make music for a living, you can judge me. Otherwise, go wash your dishes or something
Yeah,
like that.
basically.
Yeah. He's like, I'm really impressed with him as a lyricist. So anytime I'm like reading
on.
the lyrics, no, it's more like playfulness in the lyrics. It's not like it's meaningful. It's just like just weird turns of phrase and things like that I
Yeah.
enjoy. Also, I mean, they have an album named like "Good News for People That Love Bad News."
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just funny to me. I don't know. Okay,
Sorry,
that's it.
Jay. Get
It's
Sum
over.
41.
Sum 40. I already wrote it in. All right, next match is Travis
From with such hits as "Why Does It Always Rain on Me" and "Sing."
versus Hoobastank.
With The Reason, Running Away, and Crawling in the Dark. So this is a heart vote. I basically begged these guys to put Travis in the list. And Travis is, and if they don't make it past this round, I'm okay. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to cry a little bit because they're my favorite band of all time.
I know, and you mentioned that before.
Whoa,
and
whoa! All time.
All time.
You said that before, Jacob, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten Train mixed up with Travis.
And he apologizes that every time. And I get
keep doing it.
I get
that would
real
offend
mad.
him so deeply.
I had to think
It
just
does.
now,
I look at him, I go, it's okay. You don't understand.
but because Travis, to me,
so funny.
I really have no experience with them. But when I listen to "Why Does It Always Rain on Me," I'm like, oh yeah, that song.
So Hoobastank has sold 10 million albums, and while Travis is mostly huge in the UK, they've sold 20 million
Double the albums.
albums.
Yeah.
Think about
Man,
that.
maybe if Modest Mouse had continued, I would like Travis more.
Travis got their name from
I can change it.
a character.
I'll make a trade with you right now.
A character in the film Paris, Texas is where they got their name, whereas Hoobastank got their name from one of the band members mispronouncing a German street name.
Okay, no. So I found this site where it's like 6 facts about Hoobastank you will not believe. Hold on. Ready?
So terrible.
Number 4
Will
made me-
shock you.
Number 4 made me want to punch a baby.
Wow.
Okay, and so I'm like, oh, cool. Copy paste. Here are some of the facts. The original bassist loved Bulgarian wrestling, especially a 5-time European champion, Stenka Zatleva. When she come to the ring, she'd yell, "Who's the Stenka?" The crowd would yell back, "You the Stenka," in a thick Bulgarian accent. It sounded like Hoobastank. The reason was her entrance music at the 2004 Olympics, okay?
That's the best story of the night.
Apparently, Doug Robb and his brother got in a fight while skydiving. His brother pushed him out without a parachute and yelled, "Every man for himself!" Doug survived, and he was the first person to survive a skydive without a parachute.
What is this on? Is this like on BuzzFeed?
So apparently it was a fake site. Like I was just copying pasting. I'm like, these are incredible facts. And then I read that one of the people, like you said, someone in the band mispronounced a German street name.
Yeah.
So I was like, who is Stenka? Oh, it's a German street name. That sucks.
That does suck.
Weird.
So the
Travis used to be called Glass Onion, by the way.
Hoobastank gets the award. It's the reason I want to change the station award. And with Travis, I'd just like to bear my testimony that Travis is truly melodic and beautiful music. And if you give yourself a chance to just listen to these guys, you
Kent,
will. Yes, Joel.
He loves Train. Don't worry.
I'm voting for Hoobastank.
I know. So
And I'm not-
Thanks
and-
for
but-
interrupting my testimony to tell me
Yeah.
about this blasphemy.
Well,
for a band called Hoobastank.
This show has already gone really long.
You said you weren't going to get mad. Hoobastank. Hooba stink, Joel.
That's who I voted for. But no, so I'm voting for them only because, Kent, this is not a slight against you. But when I listened to The Reason, I was like, yes, definitely college years. When I listened to Crawling in the Dark, I'm like, there it is. And then I listened to Running Away, and I'm like, all 3 of those. Hey, Travis, I only got White Is Always Rain on Me like, oh, yeah, that song. So there's no memory association with the 2000s for me.
Have you heard of a band called Coldplay?
Yes.
Chris Martin said, Travis is the band that invented Coldplay and lots of others. Chris Martin said Travis is the band that influenced Coldplay.
What did Chris Martin's ex-wife, what did she invent?
Goop. Has nothing to do with Travis.
If we're just pulling random relations out
great
here.
I'm saying,
Netflix,
no, it's not a
series.
random relation. It inspired Coldplay.
By the way, the lead singer of Travis almost died when he dove into a shallow swimming pool while on a tour in France and broke his neck.
You sure
that's
this isn't
the drummer.
A fake
Oh, drummer.
site?
Yeah,
That's the
that was
drummer.
drummer. Sorry. Yeah.
It's probably the fake site.
The Man Who, which is a Travis album, spent 9 weeks at #1 in the UK albums chart. They won Best Band at the Brit Awards and were twice the NME, which is New Musical Express Artist of the Year. They played the Glastonbury Music Festival, which it's like 200,000 people that go there. Headlined it. 20 million albums. And they didn't even break huge here in the US. In the UK, they sold, and worldwide, 20 million albums. Over basically...
How much of this are we going to trim
And
out
the
when we get to the final
reason
show?
is-
That's what I was wondering too.
All I want is just them to make it to the next round, and then I'll shut up.
You said you didn't care if they made it to the next
I
round.
would really like them to.
Kent, if I had some more persuasive arguments, I don't know if you have anything
do you
else
want me to
say.
keep going?
No, I don't want you to keep going. Kent, I would have voted for them anyway.
Oh my gosh! You should have seen the look Ken just gave Jacob. I think he just did that thing with Chris Carrabba when he makes an eye relation with someone.
Right now. Right now,
no,
Jake.
No, I'm not looking in your eyes. Nope, not doing
So
it.
Travis is moving ahead?
I will deliberately not listen to Hoobastank. And it's not just because of their name, but it's partly because of that. And yeah, they definitely had a bigger influence. They were more on the radio and stuff. I still listen to Travis. I liked him anyway. But Kent loves them. I didn't know they were your favorite band of all time.
Thanks, babe. I'm so happy right now.
But I was already listening to them. I already liked them.
Why did I go on for 7 minutes? Why did you stop me?
I
Just
should have
trim that
stopped you
out
sooner.
when you do the final edit.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send Travis
Hey,
ahead.
Jake, whatever you want from now on is yours.
I might take you up on that.
Don't say that. It's on record now.
Why does it always rain on me? Is it because
All right, gentlemen, for the final match,
Yes. Woo! We did it. Almost. Let's do it.
it's Papa Roach.
With hits such as Last Resort, She Loves Me Not, and Scars.
Scars, yeah. Angels, Angels and Insects? Is that what it is?
Yeah, they have,
Between Angels
they have
and
5
Insects.
top 100.
Yeah.
hits.
Also, Forever. I actually liked.
How are
Between
they
Angels
not
and
a one-hit
Insects.
wonder band, and then they have Scars all of a sudden?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, Scars
I
probably did
prefer
better.
Scar
than-
Tissue.
It is actually a higher chart.
Yeah, that makes sense. Versus Linkin Park.
In the end, Numb, What I've Done, Waiting for the End, Shadow of the Day, New Divide, Somewhere I Belong, One Step Closer. They have 23 top 100 hits. 23.
Papa Roach has about 20 million albums sold worldwide.
Oh, good
Linkin
for
Park,
them.
100 million.
Papa Roach, they get the award for the best intro of any song of the 2000s because suffocation, no breathing.
Well, why'd you start there? There's a swear after that.
I'm not going there.
But not on our playlist because Kent picked the clean versions. Thank you,
kinda
Kent.
did.
Oh, you
welcome.
found that, huh?
Yeah.
That's clever.
Linkin Park, their award is this decade would not exist without them. Linkin Park
Wow, that's heavy.
is this decade. There are a lot of these bands that could kind of flow between that and the 2010s or the 90s. I don't think if Linkin Park didn't exist, we'd probably actually skip 10 years.
Wow. That's I'm like, is that true?
It's
Linkin
true.
Park-
I mean, because there's a lot of rap influence there.
Is that
and-
wrong?
No. It's just like they're kind of a genre melding band.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
like rap,
but-
rock, metal, like.
So basically
new-
Fred Durst.
Yeah.
I feel-
No, don't. That was wrong.
Yeah, it was really wrong.
Do not compare Linkin Park to Fred Durst.
I feel really bad.
No.
Papa Roach doesn't own any of their songs.
Actually, Papa Roach is kind of a similar thing.
Wait, they don't any. Whoa, what?
What?
Yeah, so they got into some really bad agreement. Like they signed a contract where they totally got taken. So Geffen, they released a greatest hits album without their knowledge or consent.
Jeez.
Isn't that awful?
That is awful.
Also, I got to give a lot of love to Papa Roach because if you're ever on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack,
Pro Skater 2.
yeah, and that's number 2, which has a great soundtrack. Blood Brothers was on the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack, and that's amazing.
There's no doubt in my mind that I was going to give this one to Linkin Park when this matchup came up because Linkin Park is okay for me
I'm listening.
as who I am. Being able to have super angry, yelly, screamy music with no curse words for the first couple albums was a blessing.
Yeah.
And this was like I remember.
Well, do you know they purposely don't swear because
They didn't for a while, but then
Yeah.
they started to later on in albums. But when I would get frustrated, I would sing them. I have vivid memories of like just screaming, "Shut up! What I'm talking to you!"
to your kids.
Yeah, in my car. This is all pre-married.
They just moved into the parenting.
Although that could be effective. Just turn on Little Linkin Park whenever I'm angry at them.
you said to me because I want to
But the thing is, even though it's like that yelly, screamy kind of thing, it's not like obnoxious. In fact, it's almost melodic at parts. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
weird how they're
Yeah.
able to pull that together and
They're
have
crazy
talent.
talented, yeah.
Yeah, in their music. So yeah, I'm giving it to Linkin Park without a question.
I had
here.
that first album. I mean, I was just 18
Hybrid
or something
Theory?
like that. Yeah,
Which
Hybrid
that used
Theory.
to be their name. The original name was Hybrid Theory.
Oh,
Now,
really?
now
Yeah.
Jake, if you pick Papa Roach, I am obliged to pick Papa Roach.
No,
as well.
no,
Jake?
no.
This is up to
No.
you because if
let me
you'd like
see.
to,
No.
surprise everybody.
No.
I mean,
Surprise?
I really would like to just knock out these guys. So
This
maybe,
could be-
maybe another favorite of mine could
Remember
actually
in the
win.
90s bracket when Third Eye Blind got knocked out by presidents of the United States
That
of
was
America?
messed up. That
It's
was
messed
messed
up.
up.
That was messed up. Let's not do it again. Just let's end the show.
I think I'll regret it if I don't just choose Linkin Park
Okay.
on this.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Baconsale will probably be over from Joel's account.
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, babe. Though, okay.
yeah.
Consider
Jake.
your oath fulfilled.
Hey, Jake.
Nope.
No,
nope. I'm not
stop looking in the eyes.
Not. No, he's still doing it.
I tried so hard and got so far.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We will have a part 2. If you're angry at us, we're sorry. We know.
But let us know on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Let us know what you think of the matches we made and the ones that won. And like I said, you can print this out. This whole bracket you can print out at baconsale.com and play it with friends at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we go, we'd like to thank our patrons. From the I Am the Listener category, we have Terry Finley, Stephen Ross, Adrian Gray, Chris Drought, Braden Winterton, Crew Dutler, Colton Cook, Jennifer Kilkowski, Arsenal, and Kyler from a more civilized podcast, our favorite Star Wars podcast. And from the Bacon Council, Nicole D. Hale, Chris Anderson, Ryan Farron, Mats Mudro, and Reverse Listener. I'm not allowed to say Mats.
And thank you for listening. If you want to find me, though, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform every Saturday night at the Midvale Performing Arts Center. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
You can find me on Twitter at Jacob A. Rogers. You can connect with me there, but find Baconsale on Twitter. Go follow us. If you don't have a Twitter account, make one. Go follow us there. Joel puts out great quotes from the episode out of context. So if you ever hear us reference that, that's what we're talking about. It's usually pretty funny. And then you'll get quotes of me saying stuff like whatever it was, Kent, your body's a wonderland.
Yeah,
right?
thank you.
And
Again.
And
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter. It said once. Joel will already quote it.
Working out.
So,
I'm
yeah.
more.
And then Kim will put it at the end of the episode now, too.
Yeah. And so if you want to support us in any way, you can also get our merchandise, tpublic.com/baconsale. You can get stickers and mugs and shirts and hoodies and et cetera. Patreon.com/Baconsale. We mentioned before, we have content that's being promoted there. We post constantly. There's really cool stuff. If you remember the last episode, we talked about driving stories. I did post one on there. I plan to do another one soon,
Yeah,
too.
it's awesome. So until next time, listen to this podcast. Every time I do, it makes me laugh. Why are my eyes so red? Was it something Joey said?
Yeah.
Do it, Rockapella.
Thank you for not making me swear.
Thank you.
Sound check.
Ray Parker Jr. suit you.
Sound check.
Ray Parker Jr. suit you.
Sound check.
Ray Parker Jr. suit you.
Sound check.
Devil.
It's fun to do it.
I already did. Sorry.
Devil.
No, it's not the same.
He needed it.
It's not the
He
same.
needed you to recognize.
He didn't even say devil. He needed me to say
Satan.
Sighten.
Yeah, why are we saying devil now?
Now
Now
Stop
we have
invoking
Satan.
the name. Stop it. No, stop.
My favorite song, and I can't get it out of my head.
The devil's there.
You put a gun to someone's head and you're like, die or listen to Nickelback. And they're like, just shoot me.
He's like the Will Smith of the crappy alternative
and then,
world.
And then he...
So that became
Your Nickelback.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Jacob voted for Nickelback.
Oh, gosh, no.
I didn't go to college. Instead, I became famous.
We could do that, and they did.
And they did without the heroin,
Yeah.
which is boring.
Yes, you must listen to them. Look how white and pale they are.
No
Talented
Control
band.
is what I'll play in the car with the date to feign sensitivity. Is the most epic song ever written.
Wow, I wish I had a picture of this right now.
I am so angry at my parents right now. I hope that hurt your head.
It's very sensitive, apparently.
Why am I so passionate about John Mayer? He put on the magic fedora. This is the hitmaker right here. Poison Avocados by Jason Mraz. I'd
That's
rather
what these are.
peel back my fingernail.
Oh,
listening
wow.
to an entire album by Jason Mraz.
Wow.
I'll do it right now. Are you 40 and you're singing I'm just a kid?
Put Simple Plan in. Put Simple Plan in. Put Simple Plan in.
You're voting with perfect.
But I love Jimmy World so much.
I know.
And I don't care.
Hold on, are you
I don't
okay?
care.
Joel, slow down.
I don't care about Queens of
Joel?
the Stone Age. I love Jimmy Eat World.
Joel,
Love them.
Okay, so I feel like we should talk.
Marry me, Jimmy Eat World. Jimmy Eat World for Joey Kill Baconsale.
Round and the yes.
Yeah.
That's stuff. That's
Thanks for the murmurs.
Fred
Fred Durst was
Durst.
judging them.
Thanks for
but-
protecting us, Fred Durst.
Yeah.
I felt special when he did it,
Ah.
Kent.
I'd like to make it
Cop car. Pick up the day.
voice is nuts.
She left him for Chad Kroger from Nickelback.
Who can blame her?
I can.
Have you heard his voice?
Number 4, maybe want to punch a baby.
You said you weren't going to get mad.
Hoopa steak. Hoopa steak, Joel.
That's who I voted for.
Your body is a wonderland, Kent.